years. He's the EMT. He's been a lieutenant for 5 years, former union member. He's also had the opportunity a couple years ago, we were issued a grant from the Leary Foundation where we were allowed to send officers, up and coming officers, to a training program sponsored and paid for by the Leary Foundation. And we were able to send Nick Bark for that training. And again, that's going to pay dividends as we go forward. The last person we'll be promoting tonight is Steve Margulies. Steve Margulies is going from firefighter to lieutenant. Again, Teaneck resident, lifelong, went to school in Teaneck. The other valuable skill he has is a master plumber. So these heating calls we go to, gas emergency calls, that skills, that knowledge is a huge asset to have as a member of our staff. Also, his father-in-law is retired from Teaneck Police Department. Thank you for your service.
Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to bring Stephen up first. And I know with him tonight is his lovely wife, Sandra, and his mom and Laura, and his father-in-law, Tommy O'Brien, and Gail, you both coming up? Okay, and his son is here tonight as well. So who's going to hold the Bible? All right, Tom, come on up. Okay, so we want to face the camera. So if you stand there and then Steve, you face the camera. Right, Ron Goodman, place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of Lieutenant of the Teaneck Fire Department according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations, Steve. All right. And next, we will bring up, we're going to bring up Captain Nicholas Barker. And who is with you tonight, Nick? Okay, come on up. Okay, you're going to stand to my left here. You want to hold the Bible? Okay, left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of Captain of the Teaneck Fire Department according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations, Captain. And last but not least, my good friend, Battalion Chief Brian Taylor. Brian and I spend a lot of time together as he is the union president for the fire supervisors. We have an excellent relationship. I think we have excellent management, labor harmony in town, and Brian's a big part of that. So I thank you very much, Brian. So who's going to hold the Bible? All right, James. Left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. Nice to see you, Vanessa. All right. There you go. I state your name.
I, Brian Taylor,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
justly perform
all the duties of the office of
all the duties of the office of
Battalion Chief of the Teaneck Fire Department
Battalion Chief of the Fire Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Brian. Okay, so I will turn this over to council to say a few words.
I'll start to my right.
Thank you, gentlemen, and also thank you to many of you who are in the room tonight. As the mayor, thank you for Sunday night. What a wonderful night to bring the community together. As I always say, I'm very partial to the fire department, my father being a fireman. And I'm also very partial to lifelong Teaneck residents, especially those who have gone through Teaneck schools and Teaneck High School. So thank you so much for your service, and thank you for the example that you lead to the rest of the battalion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We have some of the best firefighters in the tri-state area, and I don't say that just because I went to high school with a few of you. I say it because it's true. We thank all of you for what you do to help protect Teaneck, and congratulations to the three of you who are getting promoted tonight to leadership positions, because leadership matters and experience matters. So thank you for helping lead our fire department. We're proud of you, and we thank you.
Congratulations on the new leaders. And also thank you for Sunday. It was really a spectacular event. And most important, I want to thank the family members that are here because, and I say this all the time, and it's so true, and I don't live it, but you do, where holidays, your family members are with the Teaneck family here, protecting them. Birthdays, anniversaries, special occasions, they're not necessarily there. So the sacrifice that you do as family members to protect the entire Teaneck family is really appreciated. And thank you very much. And most important, stay safe, everybody.
Thank you very much. I like to, as a volunteer firefighter that spends almost all my time on council, I'm jealous because it's a great job. Though I just recently found out that the civil service test, you talk about doing well on the test, there's hundreds of questions. I mean, we don't have that in a volunteer fire department, so I probably would have walked out in the middle of a lieutenant test. So just congratulations, and just not on leading us, but taking those tests, studying, and then of course, obviously doing very well in getting to those top of the list. So congratulations, and thank you for covering for us while we go to sleep every night.
Congratulations, Battalion Chief. Congratulations, Captain, and congratulations, Lieutenant. Thank you to all of the men and women of the Teaneck Fire Department. Not just for what you do when we call you for an emergency, but when we call you because we smell a gas leak and we're not sure what it is, or we call you because there's a car accident and we need the extra manpower, because you're always available to respond on EMS calls, because you're part of the 911 system here that really helps protect this town and keep it great. And not to repeat what everybody else says, but your involvement on Sunday, there would have been no fireworks without you. There would have been no dunk tank without you. So thank you for the water, and thank you for refilling it right before I got in. And I don't see him here. I'm not sure who it was, but thank you for aiming the hose at the bullseye when I was sitting there. Thank you for helping us raise money for the food pantry. It was a great cause, and it was so nice to see everyone come together.
I know a lot of it's been said, but it deserves repetition. We thankfully have had very few dangers in our house, but when a couple calls went out, the fire department showed up, sometimes faster than I could even get to the phone to tell them there was a false alarm. You guys are there every time the township needs you. When my daughter was having a seizure, somebody from police and fire showed up nearly the same time. You are there 24/7, 365 every time the township relies on you. And it is very special to us to see people rise up through the ranks, because the stability that it brings and the just knowing that everyone under you is looking to you for your leadership and what you bring to the table brings something very tangible and special to the Teaneck family. So I just wanted to say thank you for all the work you do, and looking forward to great things to come.
And I would just like to add that, given we recently remembered September 11th, where we learned firsthand how the uniformed services run to the problem, not away from the problem. And it sometimes cost them in the ultimate sacrifice. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone here in the uniformed services who do what you do. I couldn't do it. I know I couldn't do it. And to be picked for individuals to become leaders in those organizations is a very, very, very high honor. So I thank you and I congratulate those who we promoted this evening. And I just thank all of you for being there for us, because you run to it, not away from it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe that was Lieutenant Wagner, by the way, Councilwoman Organ, that sprayed the bullseye. So again, congratulations to Lieutenant Margulies, Captain Barca, and Battalion Chief Brian Taylor. Again, the town is getting very seasoned officers that brings a plethora of experience to the township. I'm very happy. I'm very satisfied. The residents thank you. I thank you. Council thanks you, and good luck with this new endeavor. Thank you very much.
Okay, so unless you want to listen to the rest of this meeting, I'll give you a moment to go outside and congratulate. Oh, I didn't see it. I'm jealous. Okay. You close the door. Yeah. Okay. It's gonna be a long night. We got door closed. Yeah. Okay. He's the DJ and the bouncer. All right, next, we'll have a presentation from the Bergen County Food Security Task Force, Commissioner Tracy Zer.
No, but I want to, first of all, I want to pause to say thank you. I am so sorry for not being at that dunk tank, not just because I miss supporting the food pantry. I would have laid out a lot of money, not just to support the food pantry, but to dunk several of the members that I heard were in that, including our congressman, who I heard got a little swim. But it really is, as you said, Councilwoman, a tremendously worthwhile cause. Few communities have stepped up as comprehensively as Teaneck has to address food security issues. You know, you were literally in the heart and the eye of the storm during the pandemic in so many ways, not to mention the fact that your food pantries served thousands. So many of your residents were struggling, so many of all the residents throughout the county the wealthiest counties in the country, where it did not have adequate access to nutrition. And what's more disconcerting is that the reports I'm given, so brings to that is that the donations are
It's a picture we call our director.
Can I also thank plans throughout. I'm so grateful to Karen and to the entire team there who have really led the way in setting the standard for what our food pantry should be.
Okay, so Tracy, first of all, none of us are talking to Karen today because she was the one on the megaphone yesterday, stoking the fires, trying to get people to throw balls at us and knock us into the dunk tank. So,
I want the
so
picture.
there is a
definitely
little
do.
bit of, if you see some tension tonight
Yeah.
between the council members and Karen, understand it is a little warranted. Okay, she just doesn't have the bullhorn today. But I do want to say, I do want to say, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I've said this to you last week when you came to have breakfast at one of our great establishments on Teaneck Road, Coffee Cow. You have been a real advocate for the residents of this town, for the Helping Hands Food Pantry. I know Karen can speak in specific details of all the amazing stuff that you've given, but I was there personally when you came with a stack of gift cards, which is so important. And so valuable to, you know, when you think about the sensitivity of the people that need this food, for them to be able to go shopping in the normal supermarket with a gift card and not feel like, you know, they have a handout or a food stamp or something that makes them embarrassed, is really valuable. I was there when you came in with these giant freezers that we really needed because we were getting twice. Karen has the, I told her she keeps score. So I know Bergen County is big, and as commissioner, you have a large obligation, but you've really personalized it for Teaneck, and every single resident is appreciative of all your hard work. And certainly, we're very thankful to Karen for leading the charge and making the Teaneck Helping Hands Food Pantry. And I will tell you that I know that Janice is really proud of everything you do and everything you've done for the Helping Hands Food Pantry.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Deputy Mayor.
Sure, come on up.
This is a team effort. This is a project that nobody can do alone. I'm stressed out to the max about it, but you make it a lot easier. They got us our first grant, which got us another freezer, another refrigerator, an electric pallet jack. I can't tell you how much my back is feeling better now. I don't need to join a gym. We still have to lift the boxes by hand, but it's a lot easier to get off the trucks now. Your branch of the Food Security Task Force has brought us up to speed, because next week we're getting a touch screen computer system, which we had a vision, I guess, when Janice was here, to go down this route. Well, the vision is actually coming alive thanks to the grant they got us, and we're working on our second grant.
I was just gonna say, there's another 15,000 to all the food pantries in the county that's available that I know Karen's gonna
I
put some
can
good
spend
use.
very
I was just
easily.
gonna say, it's gonna be gone in a minute, but
Our computer systems will be in next week. We're gonna be barcode, everything that comes in. There'll be absolutely no more paperwork for us to do. It's generate a report. So I'm gonna have to find a kid, another one, another Jared. The pilot program has been utmost feedback. We work with the other pantries. We help each other get to where we are today. And this is a project that's done not alone. So thank you to you. I wanted to thank the firemen. They put on a great show for with Josh Gottheimer coming in also. He just took his phone out of his wallet, put it down, and helped us raise money. I don't think you were supposed to go in and you ended up coming in. I would like to put it out there. Can we do it again next year? And the kids that came down from the high school to do the fill-ins, they did a really good job too. They were really helpful. We had kids walking around holding up the shirt, go to the dunk tank, and we had a couple kids that went in to fill the gaps. And I got pictures to prove that we had a really good time.
I want to say one thing, the way that you involve young people in general in the pantry is really something that our other communities need to pay attention to, because they are our future and they are vested in making a difference in our community. And so to see that, that's like,
It's
super special.
Yeah, we love having our kids there, and the fact that they want to keep coming back, I'm very impressed with their work ethics too. So thank you to everybody for a fabulous.
I really just wanted to say thank you for, the tremendous work you've done. I mean, I remember being on the planning board and just hearing random applications, and I was very happy the day, but I was glad I was able to be there when you said you needed space. And I remembered one of the applications we had, was by Palisade Ave, and it met the requirements
That
you
was a good
needed.
help.
And, I happened to be at the right place at the right time, and I might not be able to get down there to help, but, for anybody that has a few extra minutes in the right capacity, if you're able to donate whatever time you have to the pantry in any means, it's wonderful way to go about it.
I appreciate that. And I kind of say we are the Rolex of pantries, because we're a fine watch. Our face of the watch is Janice Michelle. We're going to keep her legacy moving on.
Mhm.
But a watch has gears, and gears have all different sizes, and every gear has to work inside this watch. You're part of it. You're part of it. We're all part of this as a community. We're going to take care of each other, and with that fine Rolex of pantries. So I do have a realtor. If you all want to buy us a building, okay? So, I think we outgrew the space that you got planned for us, so I have been looking, if that's okay. I told him to keep it under $1 million. We're good with that? But
The tenacity.
I just gotta throw it out there. Yeah, but you want to come up. She don't play in the sandbox well with everybody. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we start.
That's it.
All right, well, we have a proclamation. Whereas hunger and poverty are issues of grave concern in the United States, the state of New Jersey, and whereas the township of Teaneck is committed to taking steps to raise awareness about the need to combat hunger, and whereas Teaneck Township is committed to working with community groups such as Helping Hands Food Pantry and the Bergen County Food Security Task Force to educate people about the role and importance of food banks in addressing hunger, and to devote more resources and attention to hunger issues. And whereas, according to the Bergen County Task Force on Food Security, as of 2020, more than 20,000 individuals in Bergen County rely on food assistance. And whereas the unemployment level in New Jersey is at a record high and inflation continues to rise, and whereas food banks across the country, including groups like Teaneck's Helping Hands Food Pantry and Bergen County's Food Security Task Force, will host numerous events throughout the month of September to bring awareness and attention, to encourage involvement in efforts to end hunger in their local community. Now therefore, I, Mayor Dr. James Dunleavy of the Township Council, do hereby recognize September as Hunger Action Month within the boundaries of Teaneck, Bergen County, New Jersey, and call this observance to the attention of all its citizens.
Don't get me so misty.
Not so tough without the megaphone. Hey, Roz.
Mutual admiration. You brought us here. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank
Karen.
you. Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor, I wonder if this would be an appropriate time to also mention the All Access Community Corp., which works in conjunction with the task force. I believe that Randy is here as well, and Tracy. I want to make sure, and Karen, that you guys know that Randy Glover is with us with All Access, and he is also working on doing a grab and go program to help with our seniors and feeding our seniors. So we have lots of great opportunities to work with our community. We want to make sure that we connect all the dots. So really appreciate the opportunity, especially during this month, to combat hunger. So thank you so much for all you do.
And I'm remiss to say, Randy has been an amazing partner throughout the pandemic and through Feed the Front Lines and getting hot meals into our community. So thank you, Randy, for everything that you do as well.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you. Okay, next we have Jim Koth or Koth. I'm not sure if I said it correctly.
His name is Jim Koth. He's the
Jim Koth
Parks Director for Bergen
from
County.
Bergen County Parks. Jim?
Evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Jim Koth, the Director of the Parks Department for the County of Bergen. I want to thank you for having us here tonight so we can share some information with you about our plans for a new golf clubhouse at Overpick. But I'll start by saying, when I got here tonight, I was kind of excited. I said, wow, there's a lot of firemen in this town that golf, only to see them leave the room after the promotion ceremony. I'm joined by Jeff Schlecht, our project architect from RSC Architects. In case you have some more detailed questions that I can't answer, I'm glad to see technology works. So on the screen is an overall site plan of the new clubhouse and the associated cart storage barn, which is on the right-hand side of the circle. I'm sorry, the left-hand side of the circle. The right is where the clubhouse is situated. It's going to be resituated in the location that the existing clubhouse was. A few brief facts. The flood elevation, it's a single-story building. However, the flood elevation requires the first floor of the clubhouse to be at 11 feet, which is a change of 7 feet, which is what the previous building had. The cart barn is a slab on existing grade. The building heights for our clubhouse to the roof peak are 27 feet. On the cart storage barn is 17 feet. Both structures are approximately 2,700 square feet in area. They're about identical in size, about 70 feet by 42 feet. They're wood framed, sprinklered, and we've designed them to have a residential character, as you'll see on some of the preceding slides. We can go to the next one. We have the clubhouse. Clubhouse will support a few uses. It'll have an outdoor covered patio where golfers will be able to go to the food concession that's on the lower hand of the drawing there for grab and go items, prepared items on site. We have an entrance lobby with our pro shop desk. We have an office for our course manager and a break staff room, men's and women's restroom, the concession space. And one interesting thing that we're adding here that we're thinking and looking to do at all of our courses is we've accounted for space to have golf simulators so that in the off season, we can still have golfers come in and use the simulators, whether they're with our pros or whether they're on their own. Overpeck, as you may know, is the only course that we keep open year-round, weather permitting. So this, even on an inclement day, might allow some golfers the ability to still get a virtual round in. The cart storage barn will support, I'm sorry, we can go to the next slide. It'll give you some of the elevations of the building. So on top, that is facing the golf course. The elevation on the bottom is facing the street. What we did not show, because we wanted you to see the building, is the landscaping that will be in front of that, sort of providing a little bit of a buffer. We wanted to think of the arrival sequence here, which occurs where that circle is that I described on the site plan. There'll be a bag drop there. People can easily access the pro shop and then come back and get their cart and tee right off. We're going to reorder some of the holes so that hole number 1 and hole number 18 finish on the clubhouse now. If we go to the next slide, these are the east and west elevations of the building. The concession service access is on the lower portion of the drawing. And we have the utility room and Jeff, that's access to the break room as well, access to the break room for staff. We can go to the next drawing. It doesn't show a lot, but this is the plan view of the cart barn. We can go to the next drawing, which will give you a little bit more character of what it will look like. Very simple structure, same materials as the clubhouse. We'll have overhead doors on both ends so that it's a drive-through building. We're looking to electrify our fleet of golf cars here and dispense with the gas ones that we're currently using to follow our goals to achieve greater sustainability. I guess I would open it up. Jeff, anything else to add?
The only thing I would offer is, I mean, I proposed tonight with all the promotions. Both structures are going to be protected by fire sprinklers, which is not necessarily required by codes, but the county elected to enhance that requirement. Otherwise, they're going to be residential in character.
Mr. Mayor.
Good. Yeah.
First of all, I want to say this is beautiful and you guys are doing a great job. Overpeck is booming this summer. So thank you very much. Do you need any approvals for us for this, or you just is more of just informational?
I don't believe so. I believe we're here in a courtesy capacity to share with you our plans for the clubhouse, so you can see where we're going with this,
No.
what the community can expect, and
So-
receive any feedback you may have.
I like it. I just wanted to make one request if you can. I'm not putting you on the spot, so you don't have to answer now, but if you can just take it back. We're so fortunate to have a golf course here in Teaneck, but it's really secluded from Teaneck. Like we don't mix it enough. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we can come up with something where we can offer it to like the Board of Education for some type of component, I don't want to speak for them, but it may be something you can offer to them where they can have their students take advantage of something, but another opportunity for the youth of this town. You don't have to answer.
No, I'm happy to address that. We're
Yeah, I
always
just think
happy
it's a great-
to expand our programming availability. We do have high schools that have golf teams. We're very interested in working with other boards of education that want to even have an intramural or other kind of a phys ed sort of experience. So we're very much in favor of looking towards those things. 2 years ago, we added our own pros that primarily had given lessons at our driving range at Darlington Golf Course in Mawa. That's sort of the headquarters for that. However, if you have the pro you like, he can give you a lesson at any course in the system, including Overpeck. So absolutely appreciate the suggestion, and we will absolutely look towards that and reach out to the school.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much.
If you could also think about the possibility of reaching out to our manager and health officer with the idea of perhaps through our health and wellness program, be able to offer people the opportunity to learn how to play golf and make that part of their physical fitness. We have, I think, a lot of people who do play golf in town and may have favorite public courses in other parts of the county. I would love them to just roll out of bed and go here. And then my other question is, and maybe I'm probably asking for too much, but have you thought about doing GPS?
In the carts?
Yeah.
So yes, we did 2 years ago. And
Okay.
what's held us off in our current round of carts was really the cost of figuring out each
Yeah.
cart needed an air card versus having Wi-Fi on the golf course.
Oh,
So we're actually working towards designing Wi-Fi for our golf courses, not for the
Okay.
golfer to stay connected. We want him to play his round in an expeditious manner,
yeah.
but to be able to have the GPS, because the scorecard becomes electronic at that point. You can see your distance to the hole, where the pin's placed. You can order from the concessionaire in advance. It offers us a lot more flexibility in our golf operations. So I'm not going to commit, but I'm going to say you shouldn't be shocked if you see that coming at some time in the future.
Great. Thank you.
And Mr.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
if I could just tag on to what Ellie was stating in terms of job opportunities for our students as well, in terms of caddies and things of that nature, it would be wonderful to make that available to our students as well.
We have no shortage of jobs at the Parks Department, Councilwoman. We're very happy to make those connections and be able to use the resources of the town to the best of our ability.
Wonderful.
Great. Any other questions? No. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Sounds exciting. Okay. Next, we'll have Adam Strobel from Teaneck Creek.
Good
Hello.
evening, everybody. My name is Adam Strobel. I'm with the Bergen County Department of Parks, Manager of Land Management Division. I'm here today to talk about a project that has been underway for a number of years. While Jim talked about a project that is initiating, I'm happy to come here and tell you we're at the end and the project is done, and we are about to open up the park for the residents of the town, as well as related communities throughout the Bergen County. We're looking to turn back time. The property that we have in place is called Teaneck Creek Park. It's Area 1 of Overpeck County Park. It's located between Fike Lane to the north, DeGraw Avenue to south, Teaneck Road, and then also the Glen Point area. The area was once slated for a landfill area. Clay material was actually brought in to serve as the liner for the landfill. Number of years later, those plans had been abandoned. So while the clay material was placed, it was not removed. And what happened next was a lot of invasive plant species came onto the property and overran a number of habitat that was there. So what our project does is remove those invasive plant species, remove the clay material, also remove pockets of deposits of material that was illegally dumped by people over the course of time. And we are now able to create a 20 acres of freshwater wetlands within the county park. It is our first project into a nature-based response to restoring wetlands on a voluntary basis. There was no requirement for the county to do this, but it was actually a forethought to say we want to create a nature park where people will have an appreciation of wetlands, providing habitat, providing people an experience close to home that will give them a sense of nature and enjoyment. So the slides that you have on top on the screen, the green areas, that is where the clay material was. Those areas are now removed, and what we've created there are what are called sand seepage pits. Water comes into the property from drainage from adjoining locations. They are going to be managed through a system called the Regenerative Stormwater Conveyance System. So instead of water coming in, flashing into the park property, removing a lot of good soils, there's going to have stepped pools where the water's going to come in and slow down and provide opportunity for water to be retained in the system, to provide a means for plants, native plants to grow, as well as provide a habitat for animals. So we're very excited about this project. It's been a long time in coming. The creation of the park was the forthright idea from the folks from the Puffin Foundation back in 2001 when they approached the county about the possibility of creating a park behind their businesses off of Puffin Way, which was then East Oakdean Avenue. But we've gone through a number of steps over the years to put together a restoration project that will identify Teaneck as the home of a wetlands park for a number of birders, for a number of people to come and appreciate the environments that they have. Our project is nearly complete. There's last minute items that are being worked with the contractor, and also to make sure that the plant materials that are in place are established and they are thriving. So we are happy to tell you next couple of weeks, possibly a month, be able to say that we're going to open up the project area to the general public. But I wanted to thank you for an opportunity to provide an update. I'm assuming council members have heard about the project itself, but it is a very unique and iconic type of experience in Teaneck. So I appreciate your indulgences that you provided me tonight. Available for questions. If any, go ahead.
Thank you for this presentation. Oftentimes we get many questions from the residents as to what's happening. Is it being developed? Are there apartments? So is there going to be a date for a grand opening? Because it would be wonderful to announce that and have some type of celebratory option for our residents.
A specific date has not been identified as of yet. We are still working through the last elements of the construction project, but it is very close. So hopefully within the next month, most of 2 months or so, but we will obviously communicate to the officials here.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions?
We were there before the restoration, the pathways in the park, the different visuals that were there to see, are those going to remain? Will it still be, it'll have places for walking and wandering and?
Absolutely. So the 1.4 mile pathway system that's been in place since 2006 are there. The restoration work within the footprints of the paths. So people will still be able to walk through the park area itself. We're also working on looking at enhancements to really take advantage of the new features and provide a means for people to come up close to birds, to be able to see a couple bird blinds. So people can have a up close experience. It's also the ability to talk and teach about wetlands and how critical, important they are. So we'd be looking at enhancements to the park area as well, but walking system is going to be a critical part and a legacy of the
Okay,
park.
looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know I really want to thank you for the communication. I've had a lot of residents reach out, asking what's going on, which driveway to go, which entrance. Is there a central place where if anybody asks between now and it's just a good repository for them to get their information?
About the park itself, well, it'll be a combination. It's the county parks department, which works within the department itself. The Teaneck Creek Conservancy is another avenue that we work with in partnership. They provide a wealth of information. They provide a number of programs, and we would envision that same type of programming going forward. Being able to have harness the volunteers that have been in place for the past 20 years. Volunteerism is highly sought after for this property. If it was not for the volunteers, we probably would not have done this type of restoration work, because there is a level of attention that needs to be taken and having a volunteer base already in place, more the reason to do the type of project. And we look forward to, working with the Conservancy, obviously with other partners as well, Bergen County Audubon as well, which is a very big partner with the county and the Conservancy.
Any other questions? Yes, Mike.
I am excited about both projects, and I have the pleasure and the honor, Mr. Mayor, of getting to work with Adam Strobel and Jim Koth every day. So I just want to say thank you for being here and giving us these progress reports. We really appreciate it because a number of residents are very, very excited about both these projects. So thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Okay, moving on, work session items. Miscellaneous. Old business. New business.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Joseph Spiegel to the Teaneck Municipal Alliance Against Substance Abuse and Hussein Halleck to the Advisory Board of Community Relations.
Second.
Second, it's been moved in second to nominate those two people. Without objection, their names will be put in for appointment at our next meeting. In addition, under new business, I'm going to walk in a resolution regarding the settlement for Stop and Shop Supermarket. Any issues?
Do we have a
Comments?
second on this
Second.
motion?
Yep. Any discussion? If not, that will be resolution 252. Am I correct? Okay.
Mr. Attorney, should I read the resolution into the record now or during the consent agenda? Okay, cool.
Okay. All right.
Shouldn't I have to read the language first so public
Mr.
could
Attorney,
weigh
if
in?
he reads it now, wouldn't that obviate the need to do it before the consent agenda?
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. This is now referred to as resolution number 252-2022. It will be added to the consent agenda. It is entitled Authorizing the Settlement of a Lawsuit Captioned Stop and Shop Supermarket Company LLC versus Township of Teaneck, Township Council of Township of Teaneck, Planning Board of the Township of Teaneck, XYZ Corporation 1 through 5, and John Doe's 1 through 5.
Okay.
Whereas Stop and Shop Supermarket Company LLC instituted a lawsuit against the Township of Teaneck and the Township Council of the Township of Teaneck and the Planning Board of the Township of Teaneck and the Superior Court of New Jersey Law Division, Bergen County, entitled Stop and Shop Supermarket Company LLC versus Township of Teaneck et al.'s docket number BER-L-3507-21, challenging the designation of the areas commonly known as the American Legion Drive parking lot and 665, 689, 699, 713, and 719 American Legion Drive, also known as Block 705, Lot 4.01, and Block 707, Lots 1 through 5, as a non-condemnation area in need of redevelopment in accordance with NJSA 40A 12A-5, herein referred to as the action. And whereas the parties to the action desire to end their dispute and to amicably resolve the action in order to avoid the expense, burden, and uncertainties of further litigation. And whereas the township believes that settlement of the action is in the best interest of the township and residents thereof. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Township Council hereby authorizes the settlement of the action in substantial conformance with the terms set forth in the settlement agreement on file in the office of the Township Clerk and available for public inspection. And the mayor be and hereby is authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate the aforesaid settlement. And the Township Clerk be and hereby is authorized to attest his signature. And the Township Attorney be and hereby is authorized to prepare and execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate the settlement and dismissal of the action as to against the township and any other Teaneck defendants. And this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Thank you. So that will be taken up on the consent calendar as resolution 252. All right. Other communications?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
just wanted to bring back to our attention the letter that was received from All Access Development last meeting, and then we said we were going to put it on this agenda. It was just a notice from Mr. Glover, who's here, seeking an opportunity to continue to serve the community. I know that Karen is here, so hopefully they will connect in terms of They have a sustainable food program, grab and go, and they were just seeking a location, perhaps either the Rota Center or the PSC&G parking lot as a distribution location. And I believe 2 days a week. So that was a letter that was forwarded to us dated the 25th of August.
Thank you. Any other communications? No?
I just wanted to
Yes.
mention I've received several emails. I know council has as well about the wonderful job that the manager, our employees and everyone else did during TNEC Day. So I just wanted to note the emails have been flowing and thank him and everyone else that had something to do with putting together a terrific show.
Yep. It was a great, great day for the town. All right, no other communications. We'll move on. Committee reports by council liaisons. I've just been informed that the member who was going to present on the historic marker map is ill this evening. So we will, we'll try to move that to the October meeting, if that's okay. And item number 3, proposed street naming is going to be pulled for consideration at another time. So right now, what is in order is to discuss the advisory board on community relations report. So can I have the chair come up to the mic, please?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Pleasure to be here.
What we're looking at is the report that you gave us. So
Correct.
We're gonna work off of that, okay?
Very well.
You mentioned a number of things in here. I'll start first with volunteerism.
Right.
And I think it's laudable that you want to try and increase the volunteer pool. I just want to let you know that right now we have over 80 people in our pool. The issue is more a matter of having them apply for the positions that are actually vacant. So it's not a volume issue. It's rather a interest issue. So we may be looking at doing something about that. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. You mentioned you went to talk to the FDU faculty and you received a proposal for an annual diversity, equity, inclusion survey to regularly measure the success of the efforts that the township makes. Have we seen that?
Yes, sir, and I'll gladly forward that to you again.
Okay, so we haven't seen it yet.
Well, it has been sent to council on August 3rd.
We were sent the proposal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what activities is this going to measure?
That's a very good question, Mr. Mayor. So the idea is if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. So, and we want to hear from the community how they feel, put a baseline in place to pretty much have TNEC look in the mirror and see how we are doing. Are we listening to the community? Is the community feeling that they're included? Take that score, run 1 year of activities, come back a year later, measure again, and then we'll see if there has been any improvement in the sentiments that the community has. And then if not, then if there is any tweaks, any improvements that are to take place, we make them. If not, then everybody's a happy camper.
Okay. You're aware that the council charged your advisory board, I think it's almost 25 months ago,
Correct.
to give us activities, to suggest activities
Correct.
to do that. Where are they?
Those were presented to council on January 4th of this year as part of the presentation that we gave earlier this year. And the list
I
of
don't
some
think,
of
I don't
those.
think they were really the activities that we were looking for, but I'll let the council make a decision on that. Visits to organized communities. I know you've been going to different houses of worship.
Right.
How is that going?
I think it's going very well. We're very pleased to have learned a lot of different things about different communities. We will continue to make those visits. Next week, we're expected to go to Temple Emeth. We're looking forward to visiting the Ethical Cultural Society in the next few weeks. And then we look forward to visiting more of these organized communities so that we can learn more about their concerns, learn about what makes them unique, learn about what drives them. And that helps us formulate plans and suggestions to your honors.
Okay, so you're then from these meetings going to bring us more activities?
I cannot say that per se, but let's say that the conclusions that we get from those visits may influence formulating new activities. I don't know for a fact that that's going to result in some activities.
Okay, well, I mean, my hope would be that any advisory board's activities would result in advising us
right
as to how to make the township better.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I don't want us to just have our volunteers doing nice things.
Right.
Okay, but then it doesn't result in an actionable item.
Correct.
Because that's what we need.
Correct.
All right. Orientation, you requested the council set up an orientation for board members to learn about their rights and duties. That's already been done. It's with the attorney and I think in the manager. My hope is that we are going to first do it in October via Zoom.
Very
It
good.
can be for everyone. And then we can also basically have that to be used every year for future board members. So that
Very
is
well.
already done. You asked obviously for Commissioner Zur to be here and that was already done.
Delivered.
You want a time slot for an upcoming council meeting for board member Kasai Sanchez to deliver a presentation about implicit bias. Tell us about that.
Right. So we just would like to share with council some presentation that is academic based about implicit biases. We can send that for review prior to delivering it in front of the general public, or that could be done at a separate meeting. But we just like the members of council to be more aware of implicit biases. Everybody has implicit biases. Nobody's immune against that. It's not COVID. And I guess even COVID, nobody's immune against that either. But we would like, in a nutshell, would like the members of council to be more aware of the sensitivities of the different unique communities.
Okay. Would you think that that would be one of those type of activities that we were looking for 25 months ago?
Yeah, that's a fair statement. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would like to see this, if it's going to go forward, be something
Right.
for the entire township.
Sure.
Because again, what you're trying to do is do community relations. Presenting it just to us is not going to help.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last part.
Presenting it just to us is not going to help. We have to
Okay.
present it like we did with the Walk the Talk lectures. By the way, the Walk the Talk lectures, you got a number of deliverables from that. Am I correct?
Correct. And they were embedded into the presentation that was delivered to you on January 4th, 2022.
Okay. Board is requesting pre-approval of $5,000 for the FDU DEI proposal and an additional $1,000 for possible DEI scorecard. Tell me about that.
That relates to diversity, equity, and inclusion again, and it's the same idea that I've explained. And pretty much, we met with Fairleigh Dickinson, and I thank you, Mr. Mayor, for helping us arrange for that. The professors have put together a proposal, which I'll gladly resend again. And we would like to put together a survey, but before we do that, we want to make sure two things are happening. One, that there is money that could be earmarked towards that, $6,000, and that the council is okay with the idea of a diversity, equity, and inclusion survey that could be done on a recurrent basis. It doesn't mean that we have to pay for it on a recurrent basis, but we will design an initial version of it that we could reuse every year.
All right. I mean, obviously, I'm going to let if other people have comments or questions, but I don't think there's enough meat here for us to make a decision on this because I don't see it. I don't see what the deliverable is. I understand philosophically,
Right.
but we have to think a little bit more pragmatic in terms of how we get things done. I'm a little concerned that we're measuring stuff and we're not sure yet what we're going to measure.
Would it, Mr. Mayor, would it be helpful if I re-forward you the proposal right now? Is
You
that?
could, you can send it to me and we'll have the council discuss it. But again, I guess I've been overly concerned about the fact that we waited a little less than 2 years, a little more than 2 years.
Right.
For something that was asked for. I was concerned that when I had to meet with you and your group, I guess it was almost a year after that.
Right.
The group had no idea what I was talking about. I have concerns about process here.
Yes, sir.
With respect to my understanding is that your advisory board was told that they were going to do a media presentation here.
That was the expectation. And then I had sent out, we did a mock presentation last Thursday. Mr. Mayor, were copied to that email when we requested the scheduling. So was our liaison. We actually did that meeting on September 15th. Happy birthday, Yassine. And we were ready, but then we learned later that that was going to be the nature of our appearance tonight is not in the form of a presentation, but rather reading the report that we sent to you
because
earlier last month.
I'm a little concerned that you did that. You know, I'm sure you guys did a lot of work on it.
Right.
But as you know, you and I had emails back and forth in late August with
Right.
respect to the fact of what the process is. And that you were expected to send a report. And yet, even after knowing that, you went and had your advisory board work on a presentation. And then I saw a number of emails going back and forth from your advisory board,
Right.
kind of blaming me or blaming us about the
Right.
fact you weren't going to present it,
Right.
even though you knew you weren't presenting over a month ago.
Well, no, I hope to be, I would like to clarify that. What you have in front of you that you're reading from is not an annual report. This was just something that was sent to you to give you an up-to-date status about what we sent. And then everything is dated right there. And then as you could see, with relation to the charge that we were given.
You seen what I'm referencing is the emails that you and I had back and forth over a month
So
ago
am I.
about presentation, not your report.
No, I understand that. I'm talking, what we are talking about, what was in the email is the same exact report we're looking at tonight. This is not meant to be an annual report. This was a report that was sent to you to give you a year-to-date update with 4 items that in which we were requesting approval. And I thank you for bringing Ms. Zert tonight. That was one of the items that we requested. But again, this is not an annual report. And as you see on that table that I had sent you, you have 11 items that were delivered on January 4, 2022. And that were the results of the charge that you generously gave us.
So again, I'll let other members of council make comments on this if they wish. I think in order to move ahead with any of the other items that I mentioned, we need to have some specifics. And as I've said to you personally,
Right.
I have issues with creating surveys for stuff I don't know what I'm surveying.
Correct.
To create lectures at cost to the community where it's unclear what the deliverables are from
Right.
that lecture.
Right.
And what is the ongoing effects.
Right.
And then again, my frustration, and I'm talking to me personally now,
Right,
my
right.
frustration has been that I was waiting for
Right.
almost 2 years.
Right.
I was expecting a list of activities that you potentially either could do yourself or at least tell us that you thought were good ideas.
Right.
we went ahead and did Teaneck Day.
Right,
Those are the types of things we were talking about and asking for. Okay?
right.
And they didn't happen.
Repeat the last part again. I couldn't hear that.
I'm sorry?
You said we had Teaneck Day, but I didn't hear the last sentence that you
Okay,
mentioned.
so all I'm saying to you is, I get a sense that sometimes what I'm saying is not getting through,
Right,
or that the group sees that something is more important right now, and then they go off and do it, and then they don't come back to the original thing that we charged you to do, okay? It's a two-way street. The advisory boards get information from us that we want
right,
from them, and that you make proposals to us relative to other things.
right.
Okay? And so that's how it has to occur. I don't want to have to, on a Sunday afternoon, talk to an advisory board chair and say, what do you mean you're doing a presentation?
Right,
Because I already had the conversation with you that you're not doing a presentation.
correct.
Okay? So, and then to have what I saw back and forth,
Right,
blaming us
right.
for something that basically was kind of set up, was a little disconcerting.
Well,
Okay?
I mean, Mr. Mayor, I'm glad you mentioned earlier that the process may not be perfect. And I think we all want to work together so that we can improve how we do things. And on behalf of the board, I can tell you that the frustration is reciprocal, because we have been sending out items for approval and they don't seem to be making it to the dais. What I suggest as the chair of the advisory board on community relations is that I think we have to revisit how the council communicates with our advisory board and how we communicate with you so that we can improve things. Meanwhile, I think by the time we're able to find that comfortable zone where we can communicate together, maybe we can just pause the meetings of the advisory board right now, or any of the activities that are being planned until a future date. This way, we know we can spend some time preparing. And then if there are any of these ideas that the council is not comfortable doing, I think it's only fair to the Teaneck community that those ideas become public domain ideas. If there are nonprofit organizations that are willing to run with them, they should be capable of doing that. We don't want to burden the government with doing everything. And so on and so forth. This way, it's a win-win for everybody. Council is comfortable, the advisory board is comfortable, and the community is served. I think
Deputy
that's only sound.
So first, I want to thank you for your passion and your real hard work and dedication. It's obvious in the work product that you and your board do, and certainly the liaison, Councilmember Rice. In my tenure on council, I've never seen so much activity come out of the Community Relations Advisory Board with attempts to do such positive. I think what the mayor is really saying and is that there's just some miscommunications or lack of or poor communications. And I think if you would communicate, and I don't think anyone wants to stymie or discredit or take away from any of the hard work that you and your board are doing. You know, I know how passionate you are about this. I just think you and the mayor should get on a clearer, you know, a better page so that he can put forth. And at the end of the day, they're suggestions, you know, and that's what advisory boards are supposed to do. They're supposed to advise the council. You know, we're lucky to have the talent that we have on all of our advisory boards. And you know, that's what we seek. We seek residents. We have a great talent pool in this community, and we seek those residents to join these advisory boards to help this council govern better. So thank you. And like I said, I think the next step should be reaching out to the mayor directly or reaching out to your liaison and working together to see how you can, I guess, move forward with 1, 2, or more of some of your suggestions.
Very well.
Okay.
It's fair.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
All right. Council listed items. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm sorry. I did. There's some more. Go ahead. Go. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to report on the parking committee. Just a quick update, and thank you very much to Deputy Manager Tom Rowe for running lead on this. We've made several $1,000s in parking fees. Just keeping in mind, parking fees are, our goal is not revenue based. Englewood brings in $400,000 a year. Our goal is to turn these spots over and to get people to live by what the spirit of what the parking rules are. We have issued, since we began, 375 summonses, which are $54 each, and this we get about half of it. Of course, that goal is again to turn over the spots. That has been working. Councilwoman Javon Rami-Rice brought up the idea that the signage, it was not that obvious. I thought so as well. So I thank you very much. I know the manager and the deputy manager will take a look at it and see what we can do to continue awareness, keeping in mind that this is only for the existing and the original metered spots. Nothing new has been added. So that is the report I have for that. Planning board, our planning board meeting this Thursday is strictly on the Stop and Shop settlement as well in a closed session. There is nothing else listed as that as well. And our Cedar Lane committee is a Cedar Lane committee, a Cedar Lane management met, and they continue to look forward to cannabis in the town. Thank you.
Great. Any other committee liaison reports?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Youth Advisory Board met on the 16th, and they currently have 18 members. So we're really excited, and the advisors are very excited for such a large number of students that have demonstrated an interest. And I'm looking forward to a great year with the new students.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Environmental Commission is going to be meeting soon, as well as the Historic Preservation Commission. The Historic Preservation has asked, and the liaison from the or a member from the Board of Education has asked if we are going to be moving forward with the historic marker for the integration of the schools. I know we had passed the language. I believe we're just up to the stage for funding. So if that could be something I could bring back to them through the manager for the next meeting, that would be helpful. The library is looking to engage RSC architects to start the design for the reconfiguration of the library. If anybody has suggestions for the library, I know the new director is very open to ideas, and she's been a wonderful new asset at the library. The Environmental Commission was informed regarding the updates for community choice aggregation, and that is one of the topics they'll be discussing at the next meeting. And again, all of these are posted on our website, and Doug can provide the link if you need. Feel free to reach out any questions or comments. I'm Kay Kaplan at tnacnj.gov.
Anyone else have any? Yes.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, as mentioned, tonight on our resolution, the appointment of advisory board that we're excited about, that we now are up to 3 members. Catherine, this is the last one, just on our second advisory board, and many of them are forced to attend this countywide free on the 27th of September. Excited about that.
Okay, great. Anyone else have a report? No? Okay. All right, moving on, council listed items, Breast Cancer Awareness Month resolution, council members Kaplan and Organ.
So you got the pink already going. So
It's true. Not on purpose, actually. My husband told me that I look like a big bottle of Pepto-Bismol today. So 2 years ago, we introduced this resolution about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It was right when people were getting back on their feet during COVID, to remind people that you need to take care of yourself. Annual mammograms are so important. Breast cancer doesn't discriminate. It affects all genders and races, and at the same time, there are so many things that people need to get tested for. Early intervention with these things are the most important. Colonoscopies. It is much harder now to get appointments with doctors than it was before. People who are starting to come back and get their annual physicals are finding a lot of doctors retired. A lot of nurses have moved on to something else. And so it's really important to be proactive, to take care of yourself. The rest of this is nonsense, but you know, your health is something that you need to take care of. And so this month, I hope we will fly the breast cancer awareness flag again. But really, take care of your loved ones. Make sure that you make appointments for things to take care of yourself. The rest of it's going to be there for years to come.
And I mean, not to put too fine of a point on it, but the last thing you want is a scare when an ounce of prevention could have saved your life or the life of a loved one. So if somebody is, in the age where it's recommended that you have a mammogram for breast cancer, please recommend that they get one. Please recommend that they seek the medical help that we have available. And if someone doesn't have the ability or know where, please have them reach out. The township has social services and various options available to make sure that everyone can remain healthy.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd just like to thank actually the township manager, Dean Kaczynski, for authorizing, there was a walk on Sunday, the Sisters Network. So they actually met at Regina's and they walked down Teaneck Road in honor of breast cancer and did a fundraiser. They also had a speaker from Holy Name Hospital who made mention of the fact that there is an uptick, especially because people were foregoing their exams because of COVID, so that they are noticing an uptick. And they also mentioned in the presentation that women younger ages, 35 and 40, they're finding that early detection they would benefit from that. So thank you, Karen and Keith, for the proclamation, and make sure we get those mammograms.
Thank you. All right, council listed 2, proclamation Hispanic Heritage Month, Councilman Pagan.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for presenting the Hunger Action Month proclamation earlier with Deputy Mayor Katz to Chairwoman Zur and Helping Hands. But we also have another proclamation for tonight for Hispanic Heritage Month, which started last week and runs to October 15th and celebrates the many accomplishments of Latinos in Teaneck and across the country. Latinos are a big part of our Teaneck family, so we wanted to acknowledge them and say thank you. So thank you to my colleagues on this council for approving both proclamations. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Item 3 was already taken care of, obviously, for Hunger Action Month. Item 4, SDL and Recreation Department presentations, myself and Councilmember Kaplan. As you know, you've been hearing at our meetings that we've had the rollouts for our spatial data logic SDL software to help in all things government management, especially in the area of buildings and permitting and things of that nature. And then in addition, there's another system called RecPro, which also will allow us the opportunity to be online with scheduling, with permitting, with signing up for classes. Am I right, Glenna? And all things rec. I think this is a great break for the town, because there are so many instances where people have to physically come here to get their work done with the town, and these are things that won't have to be that way anymore. But we have to teach people how to use it. We have to tell them, we have to show them where it is and what to do. I mean, there's 2, for example. Let me have a show of hands here. Does everybody know that there's a button for SDL and a button? You do, Chuck? Okay. SDL and the RecPro software. We're actually working on the language to make sure that the buttons say what we want them to say, so people will know where to go. But what Councilman Kaplan and I want to do is we want to try to put together some short presentations and Q&A for the public, so that they know where it is, they know how to do it, they know how to sign on and actually work them through it. So, Councilman, do you have?
Yes, the presentations will not be today, but since we do have the technology available, I will just say this is on the screen, our Teaneck website. On the left-hand side, if you're on the web-based version or on the mobile version, you'll see that service request here for the SDL portal is available. And you're also able to go and click here at the bottom, the Recreation Department program registration and facility scheduling. The really nice part about the system is that once you just create an account and log in, you can simply click and instead of having to physically come down to the building for all the things that we would normally require residents to bring a check, bring paperwork, bring veterinary proof of vaccination and everything else, you can simply go upload your documents, pay through the credit card portal, and the clerk will kindly send you all your documents and tags or whatever it is in the mail. So there's a lot that's available for residents and a lot of information available for residents, and we will make brief, informative series to show you how to set up an account and do the things that will make this work for you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to set up a separate account for the Rec Pro, and you're gonna have to set up a separate account for the SDL. But it is pretty simple, but we want to make sure that we get the word out that it's there. And we also have an opportunity to put something on the website that will stay there and be resident in terms of an education process.
Yeah, Mayor, SDL has a help center and they also have public guides section. And right now, we will within the next few days, and it definitely will be posted in our next newsletter, which is October 1st. But there are 4 different sections and links that residents can connect to learn how to create an account. A public guide, request findings and submitting requests guide. There's a portal for construction, applying for permits guide, public guide, and also requesting a construction permit inspection guide. So these are 4 very important links that we will post. We'll come out with a release within the next couple of days.
Great.
And residents can just click on it. We will do a Nixle blast email, social media, and it will be in a newsletter. And this is really all the information that the residents need to learn a little bit about spatial data.
Right.
And just to be clear, this is not merely a simple another method of replacing email to send something in. The system has robust options where instead of trying to track down someone for a building application, to schedule engineering, to schedule various site visits, you can now just click on their open calendar, schedule those yourself. The employees show up with an iPad that's set up for the system. They could take their photos on site, they could make their notes, and everything gets done or is capable of getting done on the spot. So it really does streamline things, enables the people in the building to work more on behalf of the things that need to be done here, and helps residents.
Mhm. Now, we have our superintendent here. I don't know, Glenn, do you have anything you want to add or say, or?
If you could just go over the Rec Pro, Glenn, of what's available.
Yeah.
And then I'll get into Forte, the financial component of it.
All right, so right now we have 4 different modules for Rec Pro: membership, class registration, facility and calendar, and childcare. So right now we are using all 4 of those modules internally in the department. But for residents at this particular time, they can create a profile for themselves and their family. They can view all of our course offerings for the adults, children, and seniors online. And they can view the calendar for facility reservations for the Rhoda Center and any of our parks. So once the credit card component becomes online, we'll do the online training, and then we can have registration from the public online.
So Mayor, the monetary transactions, we had set up through Forte. We were having some problems with their paperwork. They recently submitted their affirmative action certification. We're still waiting on their certification of business registry. So as soon as we get that, we can move forward with the financial component of it. So
Yep.
our CFO and our purchasing agent are trying to secure that last document.
You have a potential date for that?
I'm hoping within the next week or 2.
Okay. Okay.
And
Anybody?
Mr. Mayor, I just put up so the residents can get an idea of what they'll see when they go to Rec Pro. It has the programs that Glenna was talking about, as well as details for all the information, the costs, and once that financial component is in, the residents will be able to register, pay, and do all that without needing to
Right.
come down. Now, I hope you're still going to have those nice flyers for the people that show up at the rec
Absolutely,
center.
absolutely.
But they won't need to show up at the
Right.
rec center.
No,
in
they
order to
will
see the
not.
flyers.
And they
Right.
can pay by check for people
Check,
who are nervous.
cash,
Yeah,
or
you'll take
credit
it,
card.
right. You'll still take
All
it if
those
they
old
show up.
methods still do.
Right.
And
Good.
while you're here, thank you to you and your team again for.
Yes,
You're welcome.
thank you. You did a great job.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
thank you.
much. Okay. All right,
Thanks,
thank
Glenn.
you. Dean, Township Managers
Sure.
Report.
Quite a few things to go over, and Councilman Kaplan, if you can keep up the webpage there. As I always do every meeting, just a reminder to sign up for our emergency alerts. The tab can be found on the left-hand side of our webpage if you're looking on the screen now. Very easy to do. I know a few people, Glenna, you brought a few people to my attention that said they did not hear about Teaneck Day, and gosh, between newspaper ads, robocalls, Nixle messages, social media, blast emails, other than, yeah, banners on Teaneck Road, Cedar Lane, other than knocking on doors. I don't know how much more I could have done, but it's so not only for special events, but with the upcoming hurricane season, I want to make sure everyone is in the loop, gets my messages, sees the weather reports or any special messages that have to go out. It only takes a couple minutes to sign up. Again, that's on the cover of our webpage, the left-hand side on the tab. Thank you, Keith. I'm also happy to report the tentative date May to go live with our new 911 communications and public safety answering point is going to be September 22nd. So that's great news. We spent a lot of time, a lot of money, not taxpayer money, forfeiture money to bring back Teaneck's PSAP Center. Bergen County will be our backup PSAP. And the new system should also allow us to receive 911 text messages. If someone happens to be barricaded, they do not want to use the phone, they can text message. And it should also allow the videos to be sent to the 911 control center as well. All of our dispatchers are now 911 certified again. So I think this is a great advantage for Teaneck, and it's going to bring that level of service back to what we should have here. And again, the county will be the backup. I wanted to update everyone on the status of the police and fire hirings. The fire physical took place today. The state brought that back a few years ago. So the fire physical took place today. Once we get a list of who passed, we'll move forward with the backgrounds. The police department will actually do that. And we're looking to hire hopefully 6 to 7 new firefighters by the end of the year. It's much easier to put people in the fire academy. They can schedule that anytime, whereas the police academy is only done twice a year, January and July. The police were waiting for the new civil service results of the entrance examination. That test was given several months back. We're hoping we get it any day or any week now, because we're going to have to hustle to do the background, psychologicals, physicals, medicals, and everything that's associated with hiring. So with a little luck, we'll be able to put on 5 or 6 police officers sometime in early January, so they're ready for the next academy class. The Rhoda Center, I just wanted to quickly, we're going to put them right here. As I promised everyone, with the demolition of the band shell, we had some professional pictures made. So we have,
that's so cool.
yeah, we have 2 of these, front and back. And one of these are going to go to you to hang up at the Rhoda Center. So it's a great picture. Ray Turkin did these. We want to preserve the rich history of the band shell. And what we're also doing, we're creating a picture book that will go into the library, and that will be preserved at the library to preserve the memory of our band shell. So that's what we've done so far as promised. Just quickly, the COVID-19 update as of September 17th, we have 11,640 cases, and we're up 74 since September 9th. We remain at 146 deaths. One was reclassified. I think I originally reported 147 last meeting, but one was reclassified, so we're down to 146. We're averaging about 9 cases a day, and we get that information from, they call it the CDR-SS system through the state. There's a flu clinic that's set up at the Rhoda Center, and that's October 18th, 26th, and November 2nd. We'll be putting out information on it. It's run by our health department and Holy Name Hospital. Please call our health department at 837-1600, extension 1500 if you require any information. Again, a big Teaneck Day thank you to my department heads, especially police, fire, recreation, and the fire department. They did a tremendous job. And I also want to personally thank our clerk, Doug Ruscione. He spent all day on the PA DJing. So thank you so much, Doug. And I also want to shout out to Colonel McGilchrist for his efforts on 9/11. We had a nice ceremony on the municipal building here on 9/11. So thank you, Colonel McGilchrist. We had a great turnout for the confidential paper shredding event this past weekend. The truck was filled to capacity on both days. That's it for the year. So there's no more paper shredding dates. We'll have 2 more weekends in calendar year 2023. With road resurfacing, 2/3 of the streets are done. We have about 1/3 left that is scheduled for paving. Please monitor the township's website. Engineering, under the engineering section, the schedule is up to date, and we should complete all the streets by sometime late October. I'm going to post the streets, Mayor, for scheduled resurfacing as part of our 2022 road resurfacing project, which takes place in 2023. So those streets will be posted sometime on or about the next council meeting. So everyone will have an idea if your street is being done for 2023. I'm also including 2 municipal parking lots in that project, and that's going to be Beverly Road and River Road Municipal Parking Lot. It really needs a repair, as well as the parking lot across from fire headquarters. So we will do 2 parking lots next year. Again, the parking lot we did this year, of course, is the Court Street lot, and work on that's going to commence very shortly. Columbus Drive, again, was complete. That was a grant project. We just installed 2 speed humps, signage and markings. We're going to add stop signs that have never been there at the intersections of Lakeview and Columbus.
Which, could you say they're installed already?
What's that? Yeah,
On Columbus, sir?
They're
There
there,
a bad
yeah.
accident there today, ironically.
There was.
Yeah.
Why?
Didn't
2
read those
stop
signs.
signs at Lakeview and Columbus and Perry and Columbus going to be put in. There's never been stop signs there. We're going to be putting in a speed hump on Tryon Avenue before the end of the year, just west of Hargraves Avenue. And that will include a high visibility crosswalk. And we're hoping to get the rapid flashing beacons in as well before the end of the year. This is in addition to all the traffic calming we did on Tryon earlier in the year. And we installed, I believe it was 2 solar radar speed machines a few months back. The yield signs, a couple of residents were complaining about the yield signs on Queen Anne Road North and South of Route 4. They wanted them replaced with stop signs. We completed that today. That should help with getting vehicles to come to a complete stop before proceeding by those triangles there, which is very, very dangerous. The Alfred Avenue Road resurfacing project was awarded to DLS Construction. The pre-con meeting took place last week. We're working with the business owners to coordinate paving activities. The entire roadway is going to be resurfaced, and this is all paid through a DOT grant as well. And again, that's about $750,000. As I mentioned, Court Street, the parking lot work is going to commence in early October. We already completed the ordinance that makes one-way traffic west, and it's going to add 18 new parking spaces. We're going to run conduit for an EV charging station as well. And any new parking lot we do and an upgrade is going to have the EV charging stations installed as well. Engineering completed the ADA design work, and they submitted plans to Bergen County, both Cedar Lane and Teaneck Road. Really Cedar Lane from Teaneck Road to the Hackensack Bridge, as well as Teaneck Road from Cedar Lane to Richfield Park. It should be paved and resurfaced in 2023. The concept plans, we're working with the county right now on the DPW project. I don't want to get too much into it, but that project is moving forward. Hopefully by the next council meeting, I will have some very good information to share with council and with the residents of Teaneck with a new headquarters for our Department of Public Works. Emergency work on the generator at the police department was recently completed. happy to report that the playground equipment installation at Tuyum Park is underway. They should complete that by October 3rd. That will be followed by the installation of the rubberized surface, which will take about 2 weeks to do as well. So hopefully by the end of October, the residents will have a brand new park to use. And we will do a lot of plantings on the north side of the playground equipment to make it a little more aesthetically pleasing as well. But those plantings will not be done until sometime in the spring. The new dugouts at the 3 Voti fields are done. The benches are going to be installed by Friday. And we also purchased tarps for the TBO, the middle field, and a 90-foot field on rollers. So these organizations can put the tarps on the field to keep the water off the field. The municipal building windows are scheduled for delivery in October. That work should be done by the end of the year. The October 25th meeting, we're going to have a resolution in place that appoints an architect to redesign the basement of the municipal building. And Karen, that includes your food pantry. So again, it will be in the God willing, in the 2023 budget, capital budget for the redesign of the basement, which will include, a new food pantry for you. So looking forward to that. Our new fireboat arrived, and we're going to pick that up from the vendor shortly. That was damaged from one of the past tropical storms. So we do have a new fireboat coming in. The Fire Station 4 project is about 50% complete. We're waiting for additional materials to come in to complete the job. The installation of the Voti Park band shell is going to begin next week. Engineering will coordinate all site work and utility connections. So that project is moving forward. I had a community meeting with several council members with Bell Avenue residents on September 13th to update them on the status of the drainage project. The township applied for another DEP grant for, bioswales. We're going to be installing a culvert, and that's going to be at the corner of Bell and Beverly. And that's going to be considered emergency work because of the flooding taking place. CSX completed the outlets by Beatrice, and that should prevent water from Windsor going up to Beatrice. So we're moving forward on that. Very important, we had that affordable housing seminar on Thursday, the 22nd at 7 p.m. I sent out another message today. That's a virtual seminar, and that will be hosted by Frank Piazza, our affordable housing coordinator for the town. Again, that's Thursday, September 22nd at 7 p.m., and that will be open to 500 participants. Age Friendly has a seminar on October 20th. I'll be putting out information for them very shortly. As mentioned, I issued a press release regarding Teaneck's Clean Energy Program. I worked with Matt Smith from Food and Water Watch for some input with this. So I think the press release was received very well, Mayor, and really explained everything that residents needed to know. The next township newsletter is October 1st, and we're going to be working on the new Teaneck Times recycling calendar for 2023 starting next week. And that is it.
That's all?
That's it. A lot going on, a lot of happenings.
Jeez. Take the rest of the night off.
Oh, actually, I have a few others. I have a meeting with Margaret Baker. I wanted to bring that up on Friday evening. She reached out to me and we set up a date. So I'll be meeting with her and 1 or 2 other neighbors Friday at 5:30 at the municipal building. I'm meeting with a state vendor on a digital signboard for the municipal building. That's on Thursday. So hopefully we'll get that in place soon. There's a resolution on tonight for tree planting. That includes planting throughout town and also all the trees on Penn Avenue as well. And the township we applied for, it's called a Together Vibrant Places grant program to create a visitor's guide of historic sites, local businesses, and other important locations. And it will also be in digital format. So hopefully we get that grant. We can put together the visitor guide and put it in digital format as well. That's
Wow.
it. Yeah, that's a wrap.
Better get going before Colombo. It's just one more thing.
Sorry.
Terrific. Thank you. Thank you. As you can see, many, many things, positive things happening. All right, Township Attorney's report.
Mr. Mayor, I actually have something to say tonight. I just want to say that I'm very pleased that the council has introduced for the consent agenda, the resolution on the Stop and Shop matter. which I think when anyone from the public sees it, will see that all the stakeholders are accounted for as part of the settlement of that litigation, which was settled at no expense other than unfortunately counsel fees, which was not our fault because we didn't sue ourselves, for the town. And I think that it's a good result. And I want to commend my partner, Reggie Jenkins, who spearheaded the litigation, spearheaded the defense of the litigation, and ultimately was able to get all the parties together to the table to bring about a very good settlement for the township, which again, when the public gets a chance to look at, it, I think they will agree. And I also want to say how great it was to see everybody at Teaneck Day and thank everybody who was involved in putting it together.
Thank you. All right, moving on, former meeting items rather, and public hearing and adoption of ordinances. I have a quick question. Is this the time, John, I should make my motion to remove motion from the table? Is this time? Okay. And I'm going to move to remove from the table ordinance number 40, 2022, respecting licenses and requirements for first aid, rescue, and ambulance squads. Do I have a second? What? No. What do you mean we have to remove it? No, it's put on, you have to make a motion to remove it from the table.
My understanding was it was tabled and renoticed for today for adoption. So it's no longer on the table. It's on our agenda as being noticed for adoption.
My mistake.
Okay, Mayor. It's Robert's Rules of Order is very confusing.
My mistake. I apologize.
But can I make a motion to table 2022?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to table ordinance number 20, 2022. This is not a debatable motion.
Tabling with a date or?
No, indefinite.
Definitely.
Indefinite.
That was from Councilwoman Organ. Who was the second? I'm sorry.
Ellie Whitecats.
Billy Whitecat.
All right, to table ordinance 20-2022 with a first from Councilwoman Organ, second from Deputy Mayor Katz. Councilwoman Riley Rice,
Yes, to table.
Councilman Began, Councilwoman Organ,
Yes.
Councilman Kaplan,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Katz,
Yes.
Mayor Dunleavy,
Yes.
table.
So, clerk, if you can read the titles of the ordinances into the record that we're going to be moving on tonight.
Yes, sir. This evening, we are considering ordinances number 40-2022, amending sections 2150 and 2151 of Article 7 of Chapter 21, Health and Sanitation of the Township Code, respecting licenses and the requirements for first aid, rescue, and ambulance squads. We have ordinance number 41-2022, amending section 36-1 of Article 1 and section 36-12 of Division 2, Article 2 of Chapter 36 entitled Traffic of the Township Code, respecting the designation of Irene Court as a one-way street and prohibited parking. We have ordinance number 43-2022, amending and updating Appendix 3 fees and charges for township services of Chapter 2 of Township Code entitled Charter Administrative Code, as amended by Ordinance 1-2018, respecting fees for vital statistics documents. We have ordinance number 44-2022, amending section 36-11.2 of Division 1 of Article 2 of Chapter 36 entitled Traffic of the Township Code, adding restricted on-street parking spaces for handicap at 192 Shepherd Ave. Last but not least, we have ordinance number 45-2022, amending sections 27-2 and 27-4 of Chapter 27 of the Township Code, respecting recreational activities in parks and park facilities and permits. Those are all the ordinances for second reading, Mayor.
Thank you. Well, we have to have a hearing first. All right, so at this time, if anyone wishes to speak just on the ordinances that have been read into the record, this is the time to do so. We have public good and welfare afterwards, but this is just for these ordinances.
I'd like to commend whoever it was that realized that to have the Teaneck Junior Soccer League have to come before this body with its leadership in order to get established the fact that it's our kids who should have priority access to our athletic fields. That was an embarrassing thing for this township. And tonight, I hope that what the prioritization now codified that makes our kids the priority in terms of getting access and doing the scheduling for our athletic fields, that's a welcome development. So also is the tabling of 2022 tonight. That, as the planning board very clearly pointed out, is something that is absolutely inconsistent with the township's master plan, so much so that by declaring it inconsistent, that particular ordinance, in order to be passed, according to the attorney for the planning board, would have required a supermajority, a 5-2 vote in its favor. It is a very good thing that something that was not going to be broadly available to the town was going to be available only on the basis of the findings of the planning board into one block. It's a good thing that this township is tabling an ordinance that has no business ever been proposed. You've now tried to do it twice. I hope you stop. Thank you.
Anybody on Zoom?
I do have one person on Zoom right now. I will bring them in. Mr. Alan Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, 3 minutes, sir.
Again, I'm also speaking to ordinance 45-2022 regarding scheduling and permitting for township fields. I owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to the Teaneck Junior Soccer League. My daughter for 2 years played professional soccer in Israel, and she never could have done that without the Teaneck Junior Soccer League, without the training, without the opportunity to compete at every level from the youngest ages to the highest ages, without the opportunity to get training from people like Bill Burke in terms of traveling soccer, without the opportunity to play co-ed with boys. And to have that opportunity. But there were also two negative opportunities that also really helped her. One was overcoming the refereeing of Ken Hoffman, and the other was dealing with a Voti Park field that was a pigsty, a mud pit. And basically, if you could play in that mud pit, you could play anywhere. And she has shown that she's been able to do that. Of course, we needed to do something about that. And again, I still don't fully understand why the expenditure for such things as a press box for those fields. But those fields at the Sportsplex were bought and paid for by Teaneck residents. They're the ones who are paid for it. They're the ones who are paying the debt. The township code already in 27-2B specifies that priority will be given to groups that are serving local residents will be given first priority. All members of the public must obtain a permit. This should never have been a problem. I understand that there are other organizations that want access to the field, but remember, the Teaneck Junior Soccer League is not playing Friday night or Saturday. The time slots that were demanded and given without any legal proper authority to Yeshiva University were taken away from the residents of Teaneck who have paid for these fields. Yes, Yeshiva University is contributing a couple of dollars towards the rental fees, but these are fields that are deserved to belong to the residents of Teaneck. There is no reason, earthly reason, why this ordinance was necessary. It makes it even clearer that the Teaneck Junior Soccer League does have the absolute tippy top priority, but that was already in the code. 27-2B is clear that they had that priority. And yet, despite that, Deputy Mayor Schwartz saw to it that a favored organization, not only outside of Teaneck, outside of New Jersey, was given use of those fields at desired times that would have benefited tremendously the Teaneck Junior Soccer League, and which meant that they were forced to use inferior fields. This is an embarrassment that never should have happened. I hope this will never occur again. I hope that we'll have this resolution and there won't be any such problems going forward. Thank you very much.
Anyone in chambers wish to speak on any of these ordinances? Anyone else on Zoom? Go ahead.
I am bringing in Ken Hoffman.
Give a red card.
Good evening, and you ready, Doug? Won't take long. I thank Chuck and Alan for their words of wisdom and support, and thank you very much, Doug. And I thank council, particularly Mayor Dunleavy, the members of the council, and Township Manager Kaczynski and Superintendent of Recreation Crockett, recognizing the need to correct a problem that occurred this year, particularly with miscommunication. And I'm looking forward to not having that headache in the future. The one point I do want to bring up, but it wasn't just Teaneck Junior Soccer League that was affected by this, but also Teaneck Junior Football. It was the two main organizations that used the Voti Sportsplex, and both organizations had some issues with scheduling. So while I am clearly a TJS Eller, and thank you for the referee shout out, Alan, it is important to recognize that this did affect many different parts of our community, and we look forward to having our children and adults who play on the fields without any encumbrance from outside organizations when they are scheduled to be played. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the public comments. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doc.
Anyone else in council chambers wish to speak on these ordinances? Anyone else on Zoom?
I see no one on Zoom, Mayor.
All right, then I will close the public hearing, and I'll ask if any members of council have any comments they want to make.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
sorry, I didn't see you.
I just have a question with regard to the ordinance 41, the one-way for Irene Court. Did we do a traffic study? I'm sure we did. Did we have that information available as to the rationale and support with the traffic study for that area?
That was brought up by the residents, and we sent out, actually, they submitted a petition. We sent out letters. The police department did their survey and recommendations, and it came back to us with a majority that wanted that change.
The residents, meaning the store?
I'm sorry?
When you said the residents, meaning the store owners, because it's not really residential area there. So-
Anyone that was in that affected area was sent a letter, and we got back majority.
Mhm.
And that was sent to the police department. They did their review and evaluation and gave their approval and recommendation to move forward with that.
All right, thank you. And just with regard to 45, 2020, thank you for, again, kids over profit, any day, all day.
No. Over here.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Just to clarify, and Councilwoman Royce said it properly, the conflict of scheduling was based on rentals of fields, primarily from the 9 PM to 11 PM spot. And so by doing this, if the fields are going to be used by our leagues, excellent, that's great. For the last several years, those spots were not used. If the leagues are going to go ahead and schedule that, that's excellent news. And I just think Mr. Hoffman forgot to mention that he was helpful in having all those rentals and the rental payments and the rental schedule done between the leagues. So I did want to thank Dr. Hoffman for his years of help in scheduling with the outside organizations for the NCAA games and for the rental revenue that it brought in. And if our soccer leagues, to which I, like Coach Sohn, suffered yellow cards from Ken Hoffman, we agree on if our leagues are going to use it, excellent. I hope they do.
Anyone else?
Uh,
Yes.
I'll just mention that my daughter is having played on those fields. This week, they had the game, storm came, and they were up and running within a couple minutes of the rains ending. I just want to thank, all the people, Dr. Hoffman, the mayor, deputy mayor, and all the people on council that made those fields able to have these problems of so many people wanting to use them so often that we have to figure out a prioritization schedule. There was a time when we couldn't play on those, and I just think it deserves a note that we have fields that could play in all conditions, in all ways, and are in high demand.
Well, as a member of TJSL board who had to on a sunny Sunday morning, have to call 200 families and tell them we can't play on a sunny Sunday morning because of field condition, I thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Let's call the roll.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, there were some questions, but I don't know if that was for good and welfare or.
This is regarding the resolution that was passed on September 12th, 2020. The resolution number is 2022-01.
Okay, so I
No,
believe that would be in
hold-
good and
wait.
welfare. That would
You-
be in good and welfare.
Wait for the good and welfare part. Yep. Go ahead.
This is the roll call for the ordinances. Mayor, please remind me who the first and second was.
Have a second to approve? Yeah.
Councilwoman Mary Rice,
Yes.
Councilman McGahn. Yes. Councilwoman Organ,
Abstention on 40, yes on the rest.
Councilman Kaplan,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz,
Yes, all.
Deputy Mayor Katz,
Yes on all.
Mayor Dunleavy.
Yes. Okay, now we'll open the meeting for public good and welfare and any public input on any matters. As most of you probably know, what I'll be doing is I'll be going back and forth between those who wish to speak in chamber and those who wish to speak on Zoom. You'll have approximately 3 minutes. Our clerk, Doug Roussillon, will help us on the Zoom side and we're keeping time. So at this point, I think we'll start here in chambers this evening. So who wants to start us off? I saw your hand right there. And then you're Miss, ma'am. Yeah.
So thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to talk to all of you.
Okay, ma'am, you can state your name.
Yes, my name is Tejal Shah. I'm a resident of town of Lodi in Bergen County. I'm here today representing myself as an individual citizen of country of United States. And this is in regards to the one resolution that was passed on 12th of September by Teaneck Democratic Municipal Committee. This resolution calls about almost every major Hindu American organization in the United States as Hindu extremist organization. By doing so, this resolution in fact condemn Hindu Americans or Hindu Dharma or Hinduism. Dharma meaning the religion. This resolution effectively attempts to deny Hindu Americans the right of peacefully protest action that they may feel that it's offensive. There was one conference called Dismantling Global Hindutva, and speakers at Dismantling Global Hindutva conference stated that Hinduism and Hindutva are the same thing and should be banned. By acronym, DGH has been labeled as the hate-filled conference by many universities and government officials. The issuance of this defamatory statement without providing any of the other organizations, no proof provided and condemning, it condemns basically the chance to defend themselves effectively, denies this organization's voice. The listed organization in this resolution have collectively donated more than 50 millions of goods and services to the individuals of lower income communities of all races, religion, nationalities, and across the United States, including mosques, churches, and temple. At the start of the pandemic, COVID pandemic, I mean, the Hindu organizations mentioned in this hate-filled resolution collectively donated 30 million pounds of food to the communities across the country that were suffering during the lockdowns. Hindu Americans are always known as the most productive, hardworking, positively contributing working communities in the country. We are open-minded, we are welcoming everybody, and we always work with the community very harmoniously. IMEC has issuing the press release about this resolution, and that implies their own success. So I will wrap it up by saying this, that this is a nothing but a semantic Hindu phobia. I request TNEC Council and the government officials to look into this deeply and support the Hindu organization and their work for the United States of America.
Thank you. Can you have your comments? Can you give them to the clerk, please, so we can all have them? Did you have them written down? I'm sorry,
Yes, I can,
Okay.
my contact information you need? Okay.
thank you. Doug, can you bring someone in here, please?
I have one hand in Zoom here. I'm bringing this individual in. I just don't want to mess up the pronunciation of your name. I apologize. Please state your name for the record once you get in here. Let us know who we're speaking with.
What's up? Okay.
We see you. Please state your name for the record. Unmute yourself. Nice. We see your face.
Okay. Is that, sorry, cut out for a second. So are you talking to me?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to continue off of what the previous speaker talked about. I represent an organization called Seva International. And I'm here at the Teaneck City Council for the exact same reason that was just mentioned. And before I get to that, I just want to give you a little bit of background on the organization that I'm representing. Seva is one of the largest Hindu American service organizations here in this country. It's a US-based 501c3 humanitarian organization that's been serving our local and international communities in multiple ways for the past 20 years. We have almost 5,000 volunteers, over 43 chapters in 37 US states. Our mission is to serve all of humanity, to aid local communities, to run developmental projects, to assist people in creating positive change for themselves and for the world around them. A couple of amazing things about Seva International: we have one of the lowest overheads for organizations of our size. More than 96 cents of every dollar we raise is used to help someone in need. Another amazing point is the fact that the dedication of our 5,000 person strong volunteer base serves without discrimination of any kind in whichever way help is required. Our volunteers serve anyone, anywhere, without regard to race, religion, nationality, or gender. And our services across the country have been recognized by government officials at all levels of the government, federal, state, and local, including Congresswoman Mickey Sherrill, who gave a speech on the floor of the US Congress praising Seva's work during COVID. The Charity Navigator, which is the world's largest and most utilized nonprofit evaluator, has given Seva the topmost four-star rating for 5 years in a row. We are one of the top 7 trusted partners for FEMA. We had close to 1,000 volunteers assisting in vaccination efforts across the country, including here in New Jersey. In 2021, we were ranked in the top 10 for donor-supported causes by Benevity in the same year had over 160,000 donors that donated more than $35 million to support our humanitarian efforts. This is who we are. We serve and we help anyone, no matter who they are or what they believe in. And this is why I'm here today. Recently, as Tejulji mentioned, there's an entity in TNEC, the TNEC Democratic Municipal Committee, that consists of community members from TNEC that decided to put out a very reckless and hateful resolution calling us a fascist group simply because of our faith. As Dr. Don Levy mentioned about the firefighters that served after the 9/11 terrorism attack, heroes are ones who run towards a problem to solve it, not away from it. And we're hoping the city council will do the same. I respectfully request TNEC to open an investigation into the underpinnings of this hateful campaign that's brewing in TNEC against the Hindu community, and further to make a statement that they stand with the Hindu American community against this hate campaign. Hate should never be allowed to thrive unchecked anywhere. In fact, history has shown us many examples of what happens when
Ms. Ronnie, your 3 minutes are up. I thank you very much.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss. Anyone in chambers wish to speak? Ms. Shalane? Actually, you can, why don't you come first? You come first. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know you had your hand up earlier. That's why I wanted.
Wow. I'm Randy Glover. I am the chairman and executive director of the 501c3 All Access Community Development Corporation. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the council for allowing me to distribute food Sunday at the TNEC Day. We had a very good turnout. We registered 42 families. We gave out 210 meals, and a lot of people have gotten good responses. Today was a food distribution day for us in Hackensack, and we were surprised to see quite a few people drive through in our grab and goes from TNEC from Sunday. We purchased food. Thank you. And it's very nice meeting you, Karen, the other day. We were asking, or we are asking, that we have an opportunity to work with the town of TNEC. This is not my first time working with the town of TNEC. I actually had a collaborative with Christ Episcopal Church, Temple Emeth, and Holy Name Hospital. We were distributing roughly 10,000 or more meals a month during the height of COVID. We also did COVID registration, and we're also not only doing food, but we're working on mental health assessments here in TNEC. We have an office here at 800 Catawba. I hired 2 psychiatrists to work, who will be working free of charge to do intake, analysis, and referrals because of the COVID outbreak and how families have been running into mental health issues. So we look to tackle a bunch of issues, but right now we're really seeking access to, was it the Rhoda Center or the parking lot, so we can do grab and go meals. And these meals are complimentary. We will deliver meals as well to those people who are disabled, who are seniors, because one of the major issues is food insecurity that our seniors are facing in this town as well as in this country. We have already delivered meals to some seniors here, and we're just making sure that the food is good, it's complimentary, it's not survival food. We're not giving people cans of food, like nothing wrong with it, but we want people to have good meals, so we will deliver meals twice a week. Okay, they are freshly prepared by restaurants. We're still looking for additional restaurants because we're trying to serve everybody and making sure that if you have any particular diet, if it's enough people, like it has to make sense. Like I'm trying to buy 250 meals a shot. right? So that means I'm spending like $2,500 to
Mr. Glover.
$3,000 a day. So we just
You-
want to make
3
sure
minutes.
that
Okay,
we service everyone.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service. Thank you, Mr. Glover. Okay. Bring somebody in. No hands. Mickey, you're up. Mickey?
Okay, Mickey Sharon, Teaneck. Where is Doug? I'm going to make an appointment with you tomorrow to teach me how to do it on Zoom. Okay. What I came for is I'm still recovering from Sunday, which was a beautiful day. Thank you, Dean. It was great being there. It was the weather was wonderful. You did ask me to perform that day, and the reason I can't is because none of you have seen me perform, and there's no way I could perform where there's children. I'll tell you right now. Yeah. Anyhow, I spent the last 3 months trying to get the seniors their homestead rebates. Once I found out that they weren't getting them, and I worked with quite a few people here on the council, and we tried to get it. And what happened is this week they closed it down. It seems that a lot of seniors did not get the forms to fill out, and they wouldn't give it if you didn't fill out the forms. But the seniors did not know that they weren't getting them because our mail has not been great. Okay, today is the thing that really bothers me the most. Today was the Bergen County Senior Picnic. And they've been having it almost every year, except of course with COVID. But people come from every town. I think, I'm not sure, but they did announce something like, how many people were there, Michael? Huh? Yeah, it was a big picnic. I went there to try to, because I'm on the senior advisory board, and I get the information that seniors need. And they have tables set up and you meet, and it's a terrific day. It really is. They have music, they have food, and this time it was edible. So that was good. And it took me a while to find the table that was set up for Teaneck. And when I finally found it, I found 2 people sitting there. And with me, it was 3, and my friend 4. And it ended up that we had a whole table of 7 people. Now, every year that I have gone, there have been tables that we've had at least 4 tables with 10 people at each table. And this year there was, as I said, 7 of us. And I think it's really terrible that we did not have a showing. And I'm 3 minutes already? No. Oh.
It's what I have to do, Mickey.
Yeah.
It's what I have to
Anyway,
do.
I brought with me things that you do get, okay? They give you out complete information about what's going on with seniors. This is some of them. They have, I think, I don't know how many tables, but everything that has to do with seniors is there. And if we could only reason, and then of course, going home, I was set up with the people with the buses coming from every town to take their people there, okay? And that is really not right.
Okay,
So,
Mickey, thank you.
as I said, it's aggravating and it shouldn't be. Teaneck has quite a few people. You got-
Thank you very
There we
much.
go. There's my flag. Anyway, something should be done to find out why this did not happen this time.
Thank you.
And
Mickey, I have to.
I would like it
Mickey.
checked out and again, I was the last one left to be picked up there, but they came from Fort Lee, they came from Leonia, they came from Englewood,
Nikki.
they came from Hackensack.
Nikki, thank you
They
very
did not
much.
come from Teaneck. So please straighten that out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody on?
I have a hand in Zoom. I will be bringing them in, bringing in Mr. Alan Sohn.
I assume you can hear me again? Can you hear me?
Yes, sorry.
Anyone who's lived in Teaneck and paid attention or watched episode 1 of the 4-part documentary Model America that debuted last Sunday night knows about 2 critical events of the past 60 years: the desegregation of our public schools in 1965 and the Philip Pinnell shooting in 1990. Our schools were segregated into the 1960s because homes were segregated. Black residents were pushed into the Northeast, leading to de facto segregation of Bryan School. As documented in the book Triumph in a White Suburb, it was this housing segregation that was the underlying cause that required the vote to integrate the Teaneck Public Schools in 1965. So it was shocking 55 years later to see Kushner Realty propose a 78-unit segregating housing development at the Holuba site. To have the planning board, despite being told that the project violated the township settlement with Fair Share Housing Center, to vote in favor, with Desiree Ramos Reiner proudly voting yes in favor of segregation, in favor of segregated housing in Teaneck. That December, residents demanded action from the council. Javon Romney Rice was the only voice opposing this illegal development. The worst of the other 6 was Keith Kaplan, pontificating that the law didn't have to be followed because he said so, and that it was impossible to integrate the housing. He dared residents opposed to segregation to sue the township. They did. A group of residents, including Denise Belcher, took the township and KRE Realty to court. The Kushners, yes, the Kushners of all people, realized that what they did was wrong and agreed to build a fully integrated housing project, despite Desiree Ramos Reiner's vote and despite Keith Kaplan saying it was impossible and fully legal to do so. After 4.5 years in office, the incumbents have a horrible record on including women. 0 women serve as mayor or deputy mayor. Of the 15 individuals with full voting seats appointed by a vote of the full council on our 2 land use boards, none are women. There are 15,000 women eligible to serve, yet 0 do. In terms of women, the score for diversity is 0, equity is 0, and inclusion is 0. Look for the videos online and in your inbox. Watch Desiree Ramos Reiner refusing to listen to the public, saying that this Holuba project was illegal and proudly voting in favor of a segregated project. Watch Keith Kaplan insist that the township didn't have to follow the law and daring those opposed to segregation to sue. Watch our deputy mayor steadfastly refuse to approve a Black Lives Matter mural with the name Philip Pinnell on it. There's no place for segregation in Teaneck, or racism, or institutional sexism. There's no place in Teaneck for 3 council candidates who oppose the most basic values that Teaneck residents share. This November 8th, you have an opportunity to change that once and for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sohn.
We have someone in the back and then. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and the members of the council for giving me a few minutes to present my views. I'm going to be speaking in regards to the TDMC resolution.
Can we have your name?
Yes,
And
sorry.
where you live, please?
Yes, my name is Rashmita Shanbag. I live in 10 of Line, New Jersey. So representing myself as a citizen or resident of Bergen County. I just want to highlight a few things, again, related to the TDMC resolution, just highlighting a few things about the Seva work, volunteer work, giving back to the community, specifically in North New Jersey, since this is where I've been working and I've been volunteering with this organization for about 5 years now. Some examples I would like to present as in Seva has been working with some of the other partner organizations and along with support from the Hindu community in the area. They have been, for example, starting with COVID, PPEs, when there were no supplies for COVID, for the PPEs, they reached out, they procured PPEs and supported the local hospitals, including the Holy Name, as well as many other hospitals, senior homes, Habitat for Humanity. And they also, before they could procure the mask, they also had delivered or distributed hand-sewn masks, about 500 hand-sewn masks that the volunteers themselves sewed and distributed to the needy. They support food pantries, 3 food pantries every month right here in North New Jersey itself. They do various other tasks like cleaning up. They have adopted highways, they adopt local streets and help clean up the every month, every quarter, and the cleaning of parks, the local parks, cleaning of Hackensack River Keeper, some of the activities that are done by these organizations and the volunteers who support these organizations on a regular basis. Also, annual food drive, annual blood donation drive, one huge annual food drive, which is conducted during the holiday time called Seva Diwali. And also, they run many workshops, programs for mental health, including yoga. They run programs to support senior citizens and various other senior citizen programs. And also, they're working on the after-school program for children in Newark. So just wanted to present a little bit of work that the Seva International has been doing along with the other partner organization up here in North Jersey, and then making the appeal similar to what Tejal and Raki on the Zoom earlier mentioned. To please look into the matter and just consider the facts before making any decisions. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Anybody on Zoom?
Mayor, I have no hands right now.
Okay. I saw you wanted to come up.
Karen McAvoy, TNEP president. I came here today to support Tracy Uzura and to say thank you. And I got the package deal, so thank you. Sunday was just simply amazing. And I did want to express that I was telling Tracy outside. I can't tell you how many kids wanted to participate. I reached out to Miss Sip to get fill-in kids from the high school. And it worked a little bit, but a lot of kids came up to me and really wanted to help participate what you guys started. And it was really great to see all these kids come running up and wanted to help our pantry. So I wanted to let you know that that was going on in between things and that our kids were actually wanting to give back. And it warmed my heart. So like again, I came today just to say thank you, and the turnout was good and you guys did a really good job. And I want to just say thank you for all the support. And I said a lot when Tracy was here, I want to do this again next year. And if we can make that happen, that would be really great. And the support you gave was amazing. So, and Dean, you mentioned about downstairs, 23. We're gonna have enough room.
We'll
So keep that in mind.
We'll talk.
I hope my tractor trailer won't tie up the lot. Okay, so again, thank you for everything and all the support. I wanted to thank the firemen and the police department, and I'm looking forward to a great season for Thanksgiving. Thank you all for everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody on Zoom?
No hands on Zoom, Mayor.
Okay. In the back, on the aisle.
Yes, okay. Sorry, issues here. Hillary Goldberg. Demonstrating a commitment to our environment brings pride to the residents of Teaneck. Well-maintained landscaping and trees make our community not only healthier, but more attractive. On the agenda tonight is the authorization for the supply and planting of 145 new trees, using 75% of our small tree planting budget. At the rate we're going for cutting down trees, look at Penn Avenue, unfortunately takes years to be able to replace them fast enough. However, when we do plant new trees, I hope that we look at some of our policies pertaining to the maintenance of our existing trees. Residents routinely complain about the quality and damage done to their property by Teaneck trees. Teaneck trees lift our sidewalks, only to have the homeowners faced with the bill to replace said sidewalk. Township limbs fall, sometimes even the entire tree falls into the middle of the street, or worse, on a house or a person. Again, when a township tree falls on a house or a car after a storm, it's the homeowner that is faced with the bill. Many of the existing trees on our streets and in our parks are simply too large for the community which we have grown into. Our dense population is simply not conducive for the current tree breeds that we have any longer. This does not by any chance mean we should be cutting down any live trees. We should, however, have a clear vision for what Tree City looks like for Teaneck, a clear maintenance budget for maintaining the existing trees to minimize personal property damage, and ensuring the experts who make these recommendations and handle the maintenance of said projects are in fact tree experts. The last council, Mayor Hamadudan, Deputy Mayor Katz, Deputy Mayor Pruitt, Councilmember Sohn, Castle, Wrights, and Schwartz published a community forest management plan covering the years 2016 to 2020. The 28-page document had distinctive and positive goals to help Teaneck, which if implemented would have strongly benefited the residents as a whole. Its goals included a tree inventory and an assessment in order to plan for the future, planting needs and budgetary requirements, hazard tree identification, tree planting to promote the right trees in the right place, tree maintenance and care, public outreach, and implementing a 5-year community forestry plan in order to provide a smooth transition for the next 5 years. Had we accomplished any of those goals on this plan, we would have been able to determine if the $160,000 of tree maintenance money and $75,000 of tree planting money is sufficient, or if we need to reallocate any budget line items towards our trees. We would have a clear plan to keep our trees healthy, alive, and more importantly, our personal property and residents safe while being able to enjoy the natural beauty of our trees. Maybe the next council will be able to work on the next 5-year plan. Thank you.
In the back.
Good evening, Chandra Young, Irvington Road, Teaneck. Just want to say it is 10:50. If we can do something about getting welfare, it seems a bit late to really be engaging our residents, and I know residents have been listening and have been sitting since 8. We do appreciate the presentations and we do respect the process, but there's something that we can do about that. But I got up here to say that in November of 2018, I applied to be a part of the Community Relations Board. In January of 2019, I got my interview. I was excited, and I sat in front of the council, had a really good interview. I gave a list of things I'd love to do for the Community Relations Board. I was brought on, and within months, something happened where there was some type of reorganization, and I was promised there would be, I'm going to get me kicked off, but I was kicked off. With no rhyme or reason, I was dismissed off of the board, even though I had a list of things I'd like to get done. And I say that to say I'm a little bit miffed to hear 25 months later, we still don't necessarily have a list of activities. It's really important to engage the community. It's really important to work on our community relations. As Alan Sohn mentioned, Model America is on MSNBC. It was just, it's a 4-part series, pretty much dissecting the complicated race relations through the lens of Teaneck. So it's very important that we as a people, you as the council, jump ahead of any type of feelings that could come from the documentary, anything that could be rehashed. And these are things that I brought up in 2018 that I really wanted to kind of work on some more activities. And it's really sad to hear that we haven't really done much as far as our community relationship board. We did have a great time at Teaneck Day. That was done by you guys. We appreciate it. And it was a great time. But again, if we can just stay on that task and get some more things, bringing this community together, I appreciate it. And I'm sure other residents would too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Denise Belcher, Teaneck.
I just want to say thank you to Dean and your staff for Teaneck Day. I found that the event was very, very well, to me, well attended. And it was just an opportunity to really have a great weather and to enjoy one of our great parks. I also want to thank you that in your manager's report, you mentioned an opportunity upcoming to speak with Mrs. Baker, who has been very vocal and visible in most of our meetings. I think one of the things that I applaud your action in wanting to meet with her is that it fosters understanding and potentially healing when it comes to events that are happening within our town. As has been mentioned regarding the Pinnell documentary that is being aired, it's something that I think that we need to have a discussion about. It's something that we cannot just pretend like it didn't happen. But for those that are willing to and have the courage to stand up and to basically say, what can we do to really heal our community, which unfortunately 30 years ago, we did not do a pretty good job of. I found it kind of disheartening to hear that there's a 2-year stalemate in terms of the Community Relations Board and the council communicating ways in which we can really find means by which we can move forward on issues that are important in terms of fostering diversity, inclusion, and equity. So I just here again want to applaud you, Dean, for your efforts to reaching out to a community member who has been vocal. And I just encourage the council to really, over these next 3 weeks, to really think about and perhaps even view the documentary and think about ways in which we can help our community heal. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody on Zoom?
I do have a hand on Zoom, Mayor. I will bring them in just a moment.
Before we do, can I have a motion to extend the meeting to 11:15? All those in favor? Good. Okay. Go
I
ahead.
am bringing in Shanaz.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, you have 3 minutes.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear, you have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. So I just wanted to address some of the comments that were made about the TDMC resolution and just wanted to address what the incident is, as you may not be aware. Imagine going to July 4th, Independence Day parade, and you see a big float starting the parade with a huge noose in front. The float is covered with pictures of Grand Duke and Ku Klux Klan in white robes. Following the float is the Grand Marshal David Duke walking, and you see your local elected officials. This is exactly what Indian minorities experienced on Sunday, August 14th at India Independence Day celebration in Edison, New Jersey. The bulldozer was ahead of the parade with pictures of controversial political leaders dressed in saffron, politicians Yogi as Daddy Bulldozer's large picture was on the bulldozer. If there's anyone who holds a peaceful protest, Daddy Bulldozer sends the bulldozers to demolish their homes with full police protection. Majority of the homes and religious buildings belong to Muslims and Christians and other minorities. South Asian community members are still feeling the aftershock effects and are terrified at the bold display of hate at the India Independence Day parade. This impact is felt deeply with Teaneck residents who have family in India and often travel to Edison on weekends. This was too close to home. Additionally, there were speakers that are part of the extremist group that came to a church in Ridgewood, ironically, and while the churches are being demolished. So on April 22nd, Edison Council meeting condemned and denounced these actions. On August 23rd, Woodbridge Council condemned and denounced. Woodbridge and Perth Amboy NAACP condemned. On August 24th, is when the article came out in New York Times saying Modi's India is where global democracy dies. On August 24th, Edison Council General Session was held, strongly condemning these actions by the Hindu extremists. On August 25th, AAIP legislators' condemnation of bulldozer. August 29th, New Jersey Dems Coalition, Black Caucus, AANHPI Caucus, Emerging Leaders Caucus, Latino Caucus, LGBTQ+, Caucus Muslim Caucus, Progressive Caucus, South Asian American Caucus, Veterans Caucus, Women's Caucus, all releasing the joint statement unequivocally condemning these actions by Hindu extremism. September 2nd, Senator Bob Menendez and Cory Booker condemned these incidents in Hindu extremism. What Teaneck Democratic Municipal Committee did with the resolution.
Shanaz, your 3
Thank-
minutes are up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go back first and then here.
Chuck Powers, CNEP. I believe this council works assiduously, very hard to make sure that transparency and allowing the public to know what it is you're doing is something that you will completely change the chronologies of proper procedures. Tonight, you are promising to give to the same developer on Alfred Avenue the same tax break of a paid in lieu of tax deal before that developer has even presented and gotten approval from the planning board for its site plan. We're just turning things absolutely around. Let me give you another example. I hold in my hand what Reginald Jenkins sent to Judge Farrington on the Stop and Shop settlement. It says that it's going to take 30 days to get you folks to go ahead and prove things. So tonight, 8 days after Judge Farrington was told that, you decide not to bring until the middle of this meeting a settlement deal about which you say that the public can go read it in the clerk's office. Very difficult, except, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kaplan, about an hour ago, put that 59-page document on his own website. Now, what in the world is going on in terms of proper, transparent relationships? And then tonight, on resolutions 249 and 250, you folks are going to give this man, he's the new president of the council on, he is the new president of the same organization, Crossroads Companies, who actually wrote a critique of the Stop and Shop facility, which gave them the opportunity to sue this town for the last year and a half to try to say, wait a minute, why are you throwing this out? These are the people who are tonight being told, we are being told that that same Crossroads facility run by this, pushed by the same man who wrote that critique of Stop and Shop, and we are being told that they will be the owners of 2 of our ANINRs. There is something going on that is wholly unacceptable. Mr. Vanessa had a direct conflict of interest, and we are in deep trouble if we don't know how to stop it. Thank you.
I didn't have being too transparent of it.
I have a hand on Zoom.
Yep, go ahead.
Bringing in Margot Fisher.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Loud and clear, 3 minutes.
Okay, great, thanks. I just wanted to very briefly amplify the comments that Shanaz was making. And to say that, to make clear that the resolution that the TDMC passed it's not criticizing Hinduism in any way. I think people need to be very clear about understanding that. It is criticizing actions taken by people who support the Hindutva concept, which in my mind is no more representative of true Hinduism than the Ku Klux Klan is of Christianity. They may claim to be Hindus, but I don't think that they represent true Hindu beliefs. And in any case, that's not what our resolution was critical of. Our resolution was critical of nationalist extremist talk that is likely to foment violence. And that's really the key of what's going on. And we would condemn that, whatever religion the perpetrators of that hostility would be hiding behind, whether it would be Christianity or Hinduism or Buddhism or anything that you could come on. And there are many religions in the world that have proponents like that, and those people are promoting a nationalistic view of the world that should be condemned. And I just wanted to make that point so that it's clear to people that this is not a statement regarding Hinduism. It's a statement regarding hate speech. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher.
Anybody here in chambers wish to speak? Yes. So close.
Hello, everyone. Danielle G, 83 Cranberry Place. Also just want to note that I'm speaking as an individual, not a representative of the school board. So just wanted to comment on a couple of things that I heard today. I also watched the first episode of that 4-part series and was really moved by it. And, you know, as I sat here today and heard Councilman Kaplan bring up the historical marker that's going to be placed in front of Bryant School, it reminded me Teaneck was the first town to voluntarily integrate their schools in 1963. But 27 years after that, the Philip Pinnell shooting occurred. I think what that did is it made folks realize that while the rest of America saw us as this racial utopia, there was this underlying tension going on in Teaneck. While Teaneck still remains a very diverse place today, I still think there is some healing and reconciliation to be made. I think there's still opportunity for us to engage with one another. And when I say engage, I mean cross-cultural engagement, cross-racial engagement. You know, we tend to see folks in Teaneck stay within their own communities. And I don't think we foster enough opportunities for folks to integrate with each other. I talk to high schoolers and they still talk about a black door and a white door coming out of the Teaneck High School. I'm so thrilled to see my 3-year-old going to school with kids who come from so many different backgrounds. He's speaking Spanish to one friend. He has another friend who has completely different background than he does. But somewhere along the line, I think that gets separated. So I just want to echo the comments of some of my peers that I think there's an opportunity for us to foster that engagement. We have so many rich cultures in Teaneck. And I really want, my vision for Teaneck is a place where we really do see more of that engagement going forward. We were the first to voluntarily integrate, but yet there is still that tension. So how can we mend that? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone on Zoom?
I do have a hand on Zoom, Mayor.
Before
Oh,
we
wait,
do
no,
that,
I do not have a hand on
Okay.
Zoom, sorry.
well, before we do that, I have to undo my optimistic viewpoint. Second, all in favor? Okay. All right. Okay, let's bring this fellow up here now.
Thank you. My name is Vivek and I'm a resident of Parsippany, New Jersey. And I'm responding to the two ladies who were here regarding the same resolution which we have been talking, which is completely creating hate towards all the Hindus. I'm just asking to all of you, what do you think when a normal Hindu word comes to your mind? You think of India, right? You think of the nice, marvelous, like beautiful clothes, beautiful, nice vegetarian food, right? What does it symbolizes? Non-violence. Does it or not? Whenever you go, you are greeted with, what is this? Namaste, right? That shows that the divinity is there in you and divinity is there in me. And my divinity is going down to you. Same thing Hinduism talks about everywhere. And I was just looking at one of the photographs which was just showed, right? Like that. That was the similar picture which was there a couple of 100 years before in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And now what changed over there? And that was the place where the biggest university of world called Takshila that was built by Hindus and destroyed by the Muslims. I'm clearly stating here, okay, and destroyed. And right now, same things are happening. When the things happened over here for 9/11 in New York, you know who cried? Hindus cried along with the Americans. But who enjoyed? People still enjoy. They want to name a road in India in the name of Osama bin Laden. And there are so many those incidents which are happening like every day. You talk about any rape in the country that is happening by all the Muslims over there. And whenever there is this kind of resolutions happen, they will always happen during the time of 9/11 time. They want to show that they are suppressed by one hand and they want to create all the terrorism all over the world. So my only thing is that I'm really sorry that I'm speaking a bit loud because this is really, I'm really getting angry on all those things. Even though we have been like providing the food and all those things, helping the complete community, you see all the CEOs of this, like most of the big companies, they are trying to bring everybody together. And we are trying to help everybody with all the positive things. And what we are getting in return, whenever the 57 countries all over the world are Muslims. But whenever any bad thing will happen, where do they go? They will either come to America or they will go to India, to some place so that they can destroy it bigger with their own things. You know, the word, there's a word called love jihad that was coined by one of the church in India. It was not coined by Indians. It was coined by the church in India, which said that these Muslims, they are getting all the girls of all the Christians and they're trying to convert all of them. And after that, they get the babies and they kill the girls. And that's what keeps happening. And that is happening every day. If you see the newspaper, you will see one or the other crime, people getting murdered. You talk about the rapes.
Thank you,
From
sir.
the
Thank you, sir. 3 minutes. are up.
2-year-old
Thank you.
girls to 80-year-old lady.
Sir.
Not even the smallest of
Sir,
animals.
sir, your 3 minutes are up.
I'm really sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? Let me check on Zoom. Anybody on Zoom?
Margot Fisher, I apologize. You already spoke this evening. If you have anything else you'd like to share with council, please send it to their emails or my email, clerk@tnj.gov. I will be sure the council gets
And I
it.
saw a hand up here.
Good evening, Jose Zenon, 1835 Palisade Avenue. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to the entire council. I want to thank you. I want to thank the council for the opportunity for being considered to serve on the Stigma-Free Advisory Board on behalf of the residents of Teaneck. I also want to thank Councilwoman Rice, which is the council liaison for the Stigma-Free Advisory Board, for her active efforts to ensure Teaneck is well represented represented as a stigma-free town. Recognizing this is vital and critical to the community resources. What is stigma-free and why are towns across Bergen County towns are embracing it? Actually, I think all 70 towns in the county adopted a resolution designating themselves as stigma-free. It's basically the disapproval of a person based on physical and behavior characteristic that distinguish themselves as others, pretty much viewing them as a stigma as a other, and to offer further impact one's mental state, creating long-term mental illness. The fear of stigma too often keeps people who are struggling with the mental illness from seeking the help they need. But towns across the New Jersey and of course Teaneck are standing up to make sure that the shame associated with mental illness by declaring themselves stigma-free. Point of fact, it is not only towns that are going stigma-free, university, churches, school, companies, and hospitals, just to mention a few, and groups that wants to declare themselves a stigma-free zone can do it. All they have to do is promise to do something about it. It's all educational. If approved, I would like to look forward to work with the two current committee members, the new incoming Teaneck Health Officer, Social Service Coordinator, and of course, closely with the Bergen County Department of Health Services, and of course, the state. The primary goal is to ensure Teaneck stigma-free initiative and effort aims to create an environment in which residents will feel free to seek treatment for the disease of mental illness without fear of being stigmatized. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you. Anyone else in chambers wish to speak? No. Anybody on Zoom? All right, then we'll close the good and welfare for this week, for this evening. And I'll turn to my council colleagues for comments. I'll start over on the left-hand side.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Regarding the gentleman that mentioned that I posted the documents, I did not have being too transparent on my bingo card tonight, but it is true. I posted the resolution as soon as we added it to the agenda. I thought the public would benefit from reading it. Throughout my years on council, I have posted almost anything I can get my hands on to give the public the benefit of seeing what we do. If you go to my Facebook page or website, you will find the resolution and the settlement regarding Stop and Shop, complete with pictures of the available items. I do not apologize for posting it. The members of the Hindu faith that came out, I wanted to speak to you personally because a number of years ago, I went to Mawa when some of the people that I'm a part of were being systematically excluded there. I had the opportunity to sit with the president of the Bergen County NAACP who came out to speak, the Sikh member of the prosecutor's office shut them down, the Catholic that ran the state justice department brought suit against them. People can work together and understand each other, but it requires a level of hearing and understanding. We're not always going to get it right. And there are plenty of times we're going to accidentally make mistakes. And especially across cultures, we're sometimes not going to be attuned to things that happen. Now, the TDMC is, I just want to say first and foremost, not a part of the government in any formal way. We're a nonpartisan council here in Teaneck. And these acts that happened in Edison should absolutely be condemned for the hatred that they espoused. But what we heard were how many times one of the TDMC members read all the resolutions that condemned the actual hate that happened. What I heard from the people that came here, and I haven't read the resolution, so I don't have it in front of me, but what I heard from the people here is that when they read this particular resolution, as opposed to a condemnation of the actions that happened, it painted them with the same brush as others. And that's something that if you hear it and you understand where they're coming from, you're able to take action and say, that is not what I meant. And it's a little, look, I don't speak for the TDMC, and I certainly can't apologize on their behalf, but I cringed a little when I heard you heard it wrong. So I want you to know that we certainly understand where you're coming from, and we certainly condemn hateful rhetoric in all of its parts. And you, like any other groups, are very welcome. And I hope would join the conversation in TNEC whenever you're here.
Thank you. Councilmember Organ.
Mr. Glover, thank you for staying up till 11:20 at night to be with us. Thank you for everything that you did at TNEC Day. Thank you for everything that you do for the community. We would be so happy to partner with you and help you find a parking lot so that you can help our residents and the residents of Bergen County get food. Mickey, you're not shy. You're a leader in the senior center. I know that you can get more than 7 people to go with you to Voti Park next year. If you get the people, I will drive you myself if I have to. But we can't force the seniors to go to Voti Park, to Vanson Park. If you want to have a picnic in Voti Park, we can help with that, but we can't bring the seniors from the senior center to a county event if they're not willing to go. Tonight was such a great night for me. We celebrated with our firefighters, and we heard a list of so many things from the manager that he's been working on. We talked about food insecurity and the importance, and we learned how people in town and in the county are working for it. But it's also silly season, and we have one more council meeting until our election in town. And I would hope that nobody would speak to the work that we've been doing here and the things that we're presenting and talking about, which are so important, to criticize the time that it takes for someone to then get up and criticize us. We can keep it classy, we can campaign, but to criticize all the good work that was done tonight, the county was here, and food insecurity and our heroes, that was just silly to me. That was the most hurtful thing I think that happened tonight. To Mr. Zenon, I don't know if you signed on to be a chairperson of a new committee, but thank you. Thank you for taking it so seriously. I know that the residents of TNEC will benefit from that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rice.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to just always say thank you to the residents that come out to be a part of democracy and voice their opinions. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, and we had a wonderful celebration that actually took place on Saturday, and the county has plans for a celebration this Thursday, September 22nd at 5:30 at One Bergen Plaza. I'm sorry. One Bergen Plaza. Additionally, the county is hosting a multicultural festival on September 24th at Vanson Park. That is again open to all. We do want to shout out, as we've continuously, TNEC Day, as well as our annual 9/11 celebration. It was a beautiful day that celebrated the best of TNEC, where all residents were welcome to celebrate unity here in our community. And in TNEC, to the residents who came and members of the Hindu community, please know that in TNEC, hate has no home here. Racism and all isms are not welcomed. And I hope that there will be opportunity to really communicate perhaps with TDMC members so that there can be clarity with the letter that was forwarded. I don't think that it was meant to, if anything, to fuel hate, but actually to condemn it. I hope, Randy, again, also thank you for all what you're doing in the county, working with all to eliminate hunger here in TNEC. Hopefully there is an explanation for Chandra's appointment to the Community Relations Board and then drop. Hopefully we can get an answer for her to that. Tonight, there's a number of ordinances that include areas of need of improvement. And I'm really curious to know if there's any development that's taking place that is not in an area in need of improvement. And also there's a notation about in this phase 2 that it's an urban renewal phase 2. I was just curious, did any residents know that we had since become an urban area unbeknown to the residents? Alfred Avenue Phase 1 and 2, West Englewood Avenue, 140 State Street, 189 State Street, many of these in the Northeast, in addition to American Legion Drive, Beverly Road, 824 Windsor Road. All these areas in need of improvement. Will this impact our property values? Clearly, they're deemed need of improvement and there will be improvements made. But it just seems, for residents to have all these areas to be noted as in need of improvement doesn't seem to speak well and bode well of our community. Thank you to Chandra Young, Denise Belcher for mentioning the documentary Model America. I encourage any residents who haven't seen it to learn more about Teanac's history. And it's airing over the next 3 weeks on MSNBC on Sundays at 10 p.m. It's interesting that the shooting takes place at the same location of the historical marker that Mr. Kaplan mentioned. So I think that our history is rich with good, bad, and ugly. Nevertheless, it is our history. Reviewing it provides opportunity to learn from it and hopefully not repeat the things that do harm to any group. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Pagan.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I address some of our residents' comments, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who helped make this past weekend such a success at Votee Park. Teaneck Day was absolutely outstanding. So thank you to our DPW, our fire department, our police department, TVAC, our recreation department, our city manager, our clerk, our volunteers, and all of our community partners like Helping Hands. Dozens of residents have reached out to say how much they enjoyed Teaneck Day, and that was the goal all along. So thank you, everybody, for working so hard to make it such a successful event. I also want to remind residents that we have a street renaming tomorrow in honor of Rabbi Yosef Adler at 6 p.m. And we also have a street renaming on September 30th in honor of Coach Curtis March. I also want to ask everyone to please keep Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic in their thoughts and prayers because the damage caused by Hurricane Fiona is extensive. And as we get more information from FEMA and the Red Cross about relief efforts, we will be sure to share that with residents. In addition, thank you to Darul Islah for putting together a drive to help the people of Pakistan who are also dealing with floods caused by record monsoon rains, which have killed more than 1,500 people, sadly. And thank you for your comments about Hindu Americans who are a very important part of our Teaneck community. But this is not the Teaneck Democratic Committee. This is the nonpartisan council of the township, and we had nothing to do with that offensive proclamation. But if you would like to contact that group of folks, they can be reached at teaneckdmc@gmail.com. And some of the members of that group are actually seated right next to you in this room tonight if you'd like to talk to them about it directly. But just so you know, I stand with the Hindu community on this. As for redevelopment projects, whether it be Alfred Avenue or American Legion Drive or 1425 Teaneck Road, every decision is data driven and every decision is made with the community through numerous public hearings with the community's best interest in mind to help provide quality, affordable housing, especially for our older adults who are looking to age friendly in Teaneck and for working families. But because it is election season, the usual suspects on Cottage Place and Academy Lane are utilizing the politics of resentment, the politics of divisiveness, and the politics of negativity to twist the facts to score political points. And it's sad because they are so blinded by their anger that they don't see how all of these projects are helping our township grow in a positive, productive direction for every family and every child who calls Teaneck home. Everybody in this room and everybody watching on Zoom loves this town and wants what's best for Teaneck. And that's what we are always working toward. I just wish the usual suspects would use their energy to help our hometown instead of always using their energy to twist the facts to deceive people. But it is what it is, and we keep moving Teaneck forward together. Thank you, Mayor. That's my time.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Schwartz.
Thank you very much, and I'll try to get to my 3 minutes ASAP. First, with the this is our first meeting since the petitions were due in, and so I'd like to just take a moment to wish a successful retirement to our Mayor Jim Dunleavy and to our Councilwoman Javon Rice, who now are no longer running. I also just, before I jump into my next item, I wanted to especially thank Councilwoman Rice, who has really been instrumental in teaching us about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we've been really making a big push to get this done in town. We saw our appointees today. One of our appointees tonight is a Syrian refugee. Another appointee we met that came up to the mic before. I thank you very much. As it relates to females on our boards, this is something that I don't like when truth is just completely ignored for a story. So I just want to bring in some quick stats. Can you pull that up if you don't mind? Just some quick numbers. This is as of May 2022 when I spoke with some members of the advisory board who asked the same question. You can actually go to on our main page, and there's a list of all the boards here. Could you just pull it up? No, there we go. If you actually click on under the boards right over there, you had it right there. If you click on every one of those boards, there's no need to do that now. It will list the members. No reason to look at it now, but just some quick stats. The library board, 5 out of 9 are female. Historical preservation, 4 out of 7 are female. The chamber, 5 out of 11 are female. Cedar Lane Management Group, 4 or 6 are female. The advisory board was, and I don't know if it's up to date, 6 out of 10 were female. On the planning board and the planning board of adjustment, we've been adding, recently added a Latina. Our planning board has 3 Black men that are on there. We're really trying. We're really trying, but let's get facts straight. So please pull this up, look at our facts, and let's not talk about not appointing women when the person who spoke voted against Councilwoman Organ when she was on the planning board, when she was applying for the planning board. On to some interesting development information. Tonight is a very good question if we're doing anything that's not in an area in need of redevelopment. Very excited for ordinance number 48 of 2022, which is to create senior housing overlay district right directly across from the mosque. This was the mosque elders came to us and said, we need homes for our elderly residents. So we're starting tonight. This is not an area in need of redevelopment. It's a senior housing overlay district. Legitimate question again regarding the urban renewal zone. The urban renewal wording, if I believe Mr. Attorney, is a statutory requirement to name it. Anything that's a pilot has to use the words urban renewal. Valid point. This is, that may not be urban, but that was definitely blighted and definitely all industrial. As it relates to 140 State Street, though we are pulling it off tonight, 140 State Street was an abandoned gas station and it still is an abandoned parking lot forever. 189 The Plaza is an old Chase drive-through that's been boarded up for approximately 10 years. So I'm very excited about that. These are definitely areas that need redevelopment. And I think anyone who drives by, anyone in town who knows those sites will fully agree. And I am excited to move those forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I make my comments, he does. Ellie doesn't
Make a
wanna
motion to extend the meeting to
That's
11:45.
Right. All in favor? Okay. Just a couple of very few comments. In terms of this TDMC resolution, I haven't seen it. However, I would refer you to a resolution that I wrote and that we renew every single year that I've been on council. And it's basically titled Hate Has No Place in Teaneck. And I hope going forward, although I won't be here, but I hope going forward, my colleagues continue that tradition of reaffirming that every single year in January. And so we have done that the last 4 years, and I hope that that continues. Because I think that's what you want. You want the voice of your township government, not a political committee. And as much as I know you're offended, and I'm not going to say yes or no because I don't know what was said in that thing. However, you hear where we're coming from and read those words. In fact, if you want, you can ask the clerk. He can direct you to that resolution on the website. It's there, and you can read it. The annual, the council is throwing out, or it should say semi-annual, throwing out Stop and Shop. Again, this is just a social media event. We never, ever were going to have Stop and Shop leave. It was always our intent, not only to have it here, but to grow here and to prosper here. We all know how important it is to have a supermarket in this town. And so again, to make statements about trying to throw us out is absolutely not the case. Read the resolution, read the settlement, and maybe you'll have a little bit more insight as to what was actually going on. In terms of the Penn, there were trees, mentioned Penn Avenue trees. The Penn Avenue trees were dead. They were dead. When they cut them down, they were 3/4 hollow, as I recall talking with the manager. And they're dead because they were planted in a very, very bad place many, many, many years ago. That's the problem. But they couldn't stay up because they became a problem in terms of safety. We also, I think, did we double the budget? And I know Councilmember Organ, you and I were pushing that a lot. I think we almost doubled the budget in terms of trees and either trying to take them down or making sure that things were safe for the community. And so we're doing everything that we can to try and do that within reason. So trees are important to us. We want them, but we also know that trees can potentially harm us. So we have to make sure that that doesn't occur. Let's see. And the last item is I would love to see, and I made mention to the liaison to the seniors that, you know, maybe we have a picnic here for the seniors. You know, it's just another thing, again, that I would love to have seen from ABCR, but I think it's an idea that needs to be looked at, and to have a senior citizen thing where you can have the township services there where people can address it and have a hamburger or whatever you want. And maybe that's an idea that the Senior Citizens Advisory Board should take up and let us know what they think and how to do it. Okay. That's all I have. You say you don't want anything, right? Okay. All right.
Mayor, if I could just
Sure.
quickly regarding the food pantry, again, I'll have the architect in place the next meeting. By the end of the year, I'll have a conceptual plan design in place. It's going to cover the food pantry, Chamber of Commerce, Social Services Director, a conference room, storage, additional bathrooms. So that'll be a nice project. I'll be petitioning council and capital for 2023 regarding community relations. Again, I think it was about 2 years ago, we added to the table of organization at the police department to add community policing. Unfortunately, because of the retirements, we're having a difficult time to catch up. It is my goal. I will tell you, it's my goal. I'm someone who's born and raised here. It's my goal to bring back the Junior Police Academy, to bring back the Citizens Police Academy. We have National Night Out. We have Teaneck Day, Coffee with the Cop. We have the SRO at the high school. I want to bring SROs in the middle schools so that the kids interact with the officer on a natural basis. So that those are some of my goals working with the police department. We just have to be able to hire staff to do that. And as everybody knows, my deputy manager and I, we're very accessible to anyone, any group. We do as much as we can with the resources we have. I think most residents do know that. So if there's any project any resident wants to work on, contact me, contact Tom. We'll get it done.
Great. So the only other announcement I have to make is that the Yankees won 9-8, and Aaron Judge hit his 60th tonight. So who cares about the Mets? The Mets clinched late yesterday. Who cares? Who cares? All right, consent agenda. Let's go.
I make a motion to, do I get to read it first? Huh?
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the consent list and the bill list consent agenda and the bill list in the amount of. No, that's fine. Go first, right?
List in the amount of, and remember, this consent agenda includes resolution 252-2022, which is the Stop and Shop settlement that we walked in earlier. Read that in the record. Deputy Mayor Schwartz so eloquently dictated, and the bill list in the amount of $8,178,649.86.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded for consent council. It includes the raffles, the minutes, resolutions 243 through 252, and the bill list. Discussion?
Mr. Mayor, did we pull 49?
Okay.
Was that pulled? No, I'm saying, was that tabled 49 or that's still on?
No.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
49
No.
ordinance 49.
No, we're not at the ordinance.
We're on the bill list.
We're on the,
Gotcha.
we're
I'll
on the
wait for that
consent
then.
calendar.
Can we pull then, I'm sorry, 248 and 249?
248 and 249. Okay,
As well as 250?
250. All right. So it's been moved and seconded for the raffles minutes, resolutions 243, 44, 45, 46, 47, and 51. And 52, right. And the bill list. Right. Call roll.
Everything that the mayor just mentioned excluding 248 to 250, 2022. Sorry, it's late. Councilwoman Rami Rice.
Yes, with an abstention on the bills list. And the items pulled.
Councilman Begans. Councilwoman Oregon.
Yes.
Councilman Kaplan.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz.
Yes, on all.
Deputy Mayor Katz.
Yes, with an abstention on the bills list and abstention on resolution 243.2022.
Mayor Dunleavy.
Yes.
All adopted.
Okay, we'll now discuss 248, 2022. Councilmember Rice.
So 248, I guess, actually was explained as to the urban renewal usage of the word urban, simply because I understand that that's how it's designated to be utilized. So unfortunately, although we are suburban town, that is part of this request. So I will not be supporting that. And there was a question about crossroads. How did they get to be determined as the?
We have, I want to finish 248.
Oh,
Finish
you answered that?
248. Okay. Anybody other comments on 248? No, call a roll on 248.
Councilman Rami Rice.
No.
Councilman Began.
Yes.
Councilman Oregon.
Yes.
Councilman Kaplan.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz.
Absolutely, yes.
Deputy Mayor Katz.
Yes.
Mayor Dunleavy.
Yes. All right, 249.
I'm just curious as to how we come up with these developers, this redeveloper Crossroads Company.
It's legal. I mean, you want to answer the legal part. I mean, they own the land, but part of the land.
The issue is the redeveloper is the entity that, they own the property. They come to the zone section, generally, that's nothing to worry.
I'm sorry, when you say they own the property, they own the municipal portion?
They own it, they bring it, they come with the project, and they want to have an area developed. That's the process now, which I know we talked about many times, when they go step by step through, planner, planning board, back to us. Whole process with the redevelopment agreement, we go process of having, everything approved. I want to say there's like 6 or 7 steps total.
Yeah. Should I jump in? I'm sorry, what we, from the council, after you finish the law, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'll go from subzoning.
You know, from my perspective, we're trying to have it approved. This is not a huge, not a village.
Yep.
Multiple kinds of different formats, now in the state
You know, it just seems that I listed the number of properties that we have. It just seems like they would have, I know we discussed this in our retreat, probably like about 2 years ago, when we established this redevelopment in the areas in need of improvement, but it seems like there would have been opportunities for the community to have a more comprehensive understanding of all the various projects that are being listed, as opposed to them just coming up in this form or this fashion as now they're being, approved. I just wish that we had presented this in a more comprehensive way to have a better understanding, as opposed to this. I know we don't do spot zoning or spot areas in need of improvement, but I just don't feel that this is a great way to do this, especially I'm sure that this is not the last. I'm sure there will be many others. I just wish we had have presented this in a better format to the community. I will not be supporting.
Well, I
it.
think we're just starting this process. We're not ending this process at all. This is.
And if you go through if you look at the resolution, it does go through steps. We did, beginning with going back to September of 2020.
I noticed all the dates. Yep.
Right, so I mean, so that's, that, it isn't, this was not something, I just want to make it clear, this is what any one of these areas of development, any one of these projects that we're discussing, it's not something that hasn't been.
That I understand. It's not been in a comprehensive manner. It's just as individual projects.
Each project has to stand on its own. They have to be, it's not, they all have to be subject to the master plan.
And that's exactly what I'm referring to, as it fits with the master plan, that there's a comprehensive presentation to the community of how it relates to the master plan.
We have a planner and we have a planning board, that's their function, that as opposed to the council doesn't deal with the master plan. Planning board says whether or not the presentation from the developer and from.
She's not in favor.
Yeah, okay.
Development, whether that is something that's consistent with the master plan. And our planner highly respects his opinion that that's consistent, that's to the planning board, it's done with a phenomenal amount of support. I mean, it's not, you didn't just go inside his board, it's not Keenan on thing, it's Keenan with experts and reports and designations and maps and showing this is why this area needs this and why it's important to do it. And so that's the process. And again, from the purposes, from the perspective of the community knowing about it, I don't know that there's a process that's more sort of community oriented, because this is done not just at the council where the community's here, where they watch it on TV, it's done at the planning board where they're able to go. We have lots of residents that go to our planning board meetings. So I think, that from that perspective, I think there is a lot of community involvement. There's a lot of community notice, as well as the fact that it's only on the website all the time.
I also think we have to consider the fact that these things come in on timing and opportunity. And while we would love to have a whole thing laid out before us at one point in time where everything is there, like a design community, we can't be like a Reston, Virginia. We have to strike while the iron's hot, and so do developers, and so do other members of the community in terms of trying to find a better way to go. So I don't know how else to
Appreciate the
answer.
explanation. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else on 249? Call the roll, 249.
Councilman Rami Rice.
No.
Councilman McGowan.
Yes.
Councilman Oregon.
Yes.
Councilman Kaplan.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Katz. Yes. Mayor Dunleavy.
Yes. And can I have a motion to extend the meeting
By
to?
Did you also, I'm sorry,
11:50.
Mayor.
I'll make
yeah,
a
we
motion.
didn't say that.
Sorry.
What?
Sorry, you
Come on.
first, Mayor. You first.
Stop. I need a motion to extend to midnight. You have a second?
Motion Schwartz, second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Now, what do you want to say?
I thought Councilwoman Rice pulled another.
Yeah, I was about to
I
go
apologize.
to 50. All right, 250,
No
Councilman Rice.
explanation needed. I'm voting no.
You're good with that?
Yep.
Okay. All right, take a vote on 250.
Councilman Rami Rice.
No.
Councilman McGowan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Oregon.
Yes.
Councilman Kaplan.
Sorry, 250 was which one again?
Escrow agreement between Teaneck and Crossroads?
Yes.
Yeah, Deputy Mayor Schwartz.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Katz. Yes. Mayor Dunleavy.
Yes. Introduction of ordinances. Doug, if you could read the ordinances into the record.
You got it, sir. We have a couple ordinances this evening. Ordinance number 46-2022, amending and updating Appendix 3, fees and charges for township services of Chapter 2 of the Township Code entitled Charter Administrative Code as amended by Ordinance 1-2018 respecting fees for park and decals. Ordinance number 47-2022, approving long-term tax exemption and authorizing execution of financial agreement between the Township of Teaneck and Teaneck Urban Renewal Phase 2 LLC regarding the 359 Alfred Avenue, Block 6002, Lot 3, 6-story, 247-unit residential building redevelopment project. We have ordinance number 48-2022, amending Article 5, zoning of Chapter 33, development regulations of the Township Code to add the Senior Housing Overlay District, SHO. Last but not least,
Doug, we pulled 49.
49 was pulled. Is that,
You said we could pull it.
yeah, we didn't get,
so how you read it, then we pull it?
you could do that, yes. We didn't,
John? 40.
that's
we-
the
we
one,
wanna-
140 State
We want to
Street.
pull 49. So we have to move the table. Oh, because it hasn't been advertised yet.
Why do we have to table it? Why can't
We have not received the corresponding information yet from the developer, I believe.
All right, so why can't we just pull it? Why do we have to table it? Yeah, so just don't read it. So just don't read it in, right? Yeah,
As there's no requirement for notice on introduction, I suggest we merely don't introduce it.
yeah. Right, so we're stopping at 48.
Sorry.
Okay. All right,
This is pulling ordinance 49, correct? 140 State Street.
we're not doing anything.
You're not doing anything.
It
with it,
doesn't
correct?
exist. Okay, all right.
Ordinance 50, I apologize. Adopting a redevelopment plan for 189 The Plaza, block 5005, lot 1.01, Township of Teaneck pursuant to NJSA 40A:12A-7. And those are all the ordinances, Mayor.
All right, do I have a motion to move ordinance 46, 47, 48, and 50? There's a second.
Any opportunity for discussion?
Briefly, yeah, well, we had, no, it's here. Go ahead.
I just had an ordinance 47 as to why we're looking at a long-term tax exemption as opposed to and having this where they pay fees as opposed to taxes.
Yeah, so the way this play, it's a valid question. It's the only reason, the only way Teaneck, Englewood, Hackensack, and half of North Jersey is doing new developments right now in blighted areas is to work with a payment in lieu of taxes on this property. And there's actually some substantial kickers to the town that was put into this second agreement that if they sell the property, we actually get hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue that they would have captured if they held on to it. It's a pilot. You know, it's what we're doing to incentivize properties to be built. Otherwise, they will sit like these lots on State Street. Hackensack's building units, Englewood's built units, and I'm happy after a 20-year hiatus, Teaneck is finally building units like this. It's the only way we get it built.
So there's no interest or open bid process because.
It's a private owned property. It's a private owned property. It's
So
not
they-
township.
They've never tried to sell it and had challenges selling it that we know of. It's just because now that we've declared it an area in need of improvement.
I mean, 329 Alfred Avenue was sat vacant since 2002 and was on the market, and we've had developers come to us for decades until we finally did it. So it's the reason why it's being presented like this is to get the property built to the highest and best use. And right now, the way this ordinance calls for is we get 10.5% of all rental revenue issued for the first 10% of all rental revenue for the first 15 years, 10.5% for the second 15 years. We're their partners. Township of Teaneck is their partners in the site.
With minimum threshold requirements.
Yeah. And if they sell it and they make money in the property, we're getting paid as well. It's listed in the agreement.
Are these some of the same developers that we have listed? Those are the people.
I believe Teaneck Urban Renewal Phase 2 is the same ownership-ish as Teaneck Urban Renewal Phase 1. I don't know, it's the same people per se. I don't know what their, particular financial behind them is, but they are the same. Phase 2 and Phase 1 are the same developer, yes. And we're excited for they're doubling down on Teaneck. They're putting in now 247 units, which will yield us about 500 units between the two of them and over 15%. So about 75 low-income housing units.
And if they're not filled, do we still get a payment?
We get paid on whatever the rent bills are issued. So correct, if there's a vacancy, then we do not get paid on that money. And in reality, if there's a vacancy, that vacant unit is not using a township expense. Right now, we have at 1500 Teaneck Road a 10-month waiting list and complaints out the wazoo of massive rent hikes. So I'm excited for this. We've got every single one of our projects, every single one is fully occupied.
And we have a affordable housing seminar coming up.
Yeah.
I would suggest anyone who thinks that we're not going to fully rent a apartment building in Teaneck, attend the seminar and see exactly how many people are looking
Oh,
to
the-
live here. We
the
have
500 will be
we have a
sold.
housing
Okay.
crisis, and
All
there's
right,
only one way
let's-
to address it.
Okay. Is your question been answered?
Yes, can I have a question on 48? The senior housing, is that open to all seniors? Is it similar to the HUD project or what's the?
That is a that is a private development that was brought to us by the elders of the mosque that are asking us to rezone it. It's not a township property. It's not a public property at all. So I don't know if we have any, I mean, Mr. Attorney, I don't believe we have any say in the rent up of that, other than the fact that they have to be seniors. I don't believe it's any of our control. Is
Yeah,
that?
just, if I can just make a note on that is, first of all, right now, there's a problem with parking there during some of the services. This will increase the amount of parking spots by doing this project. Also, it gives the ability to some of the senior population from the mosque to be able to live and pray where they live, because they could just walk across the street. And also, it's going to be a revenue producing property for the township of Teaneck.
And without the senior housing overlay, it prohibits them from what?
No, so they can't do this project without that overlay. So-
It's a parking lot.
All right. So it gives, right now, it gives more parking, which is desperately needed for the mosque. And it also, like I said, it gives seniors a place to move to.
In terms of the construction that goes to the planning board, in terms of.
Yeah,
the
this
height
is just
and
this
limitations?
is just like the start of the process. It still has to go a bunch of rounds.
It's gonna have to get introduced tonight. It has to get read at the second meeting, then it has to go to the planning board, then it has to be rezoned, then they have to submit their application to the building department. It goes back to the planning board for a site plan. There's no other furtherance to the council because it's not our owned property.
It goes back to the planning board or?
Site-
Planning
site-
board.
site-
Okay, yeah. Okay, fine. All right, good.
Thank you.
All right. All right, hearing nothing else, Doug, call a roll for introduction on ordinance 46, 47, 48, and 50.
As so eloquently dictated by our mayor, we had a first from Councilman Kaplan, a second from Councilwoman Siobhan Romney Rice. Councilwoman Romney Rice.
Yes, on 46, 48, 50, no on 47, and yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, that's all. So that was a no on 47, yes on everything else.
Yes.
49, remember, there was no action. Councilman McGahn. Councilman Morgan. Councilman Kaplan. Deputy Mayor Schwartz.
Yes, no.
Deputy Mayor Katz.
Yes, but with an abstention on. I think, 50, thank you. I put my glasses away, I apologize. Extension on 50.
Mayor Dunleavy.
Yes.
Yes on all, okay.
Hearing nothing else and seeing nothing else, I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Good night.
And God bless.
I will DJ the senior citizen picnic. If you have me.
And Mickey can do
All disco music.